are you hosting the beginning of this, or do you want me to go ahead, or what?
I'll do it.
I mean,
I'll do it.
go ahead.
Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome to Quagmire. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit in awe and a little in shock. But anyways, thanks for coming. Tonight we have Will Turnbuckle. You can say hi, sir. We have T.R. Prepper. The Fat Man was with us tonight.
Are you hosting the beginning of this, or do you want me to go ahead?
Oh,
now who's the rookie?
Who's the rookie?
Go ahead.
Probably Matt. Shock. But anyways, who is that? For coming. Tonight.
It's Frank.
Thanks, Frank. We're Digging Freedom, and we have Matt from Resist Eternity with us tonight. So you guys, thanks for coming in. This is on, as you guys can see by the title, this is on Ohio's channel, because I do have a curfew tonight. So, but thanks everybody for popping in. Ohio, you want to do a what do you call it, a rundown before we get into what we're going to get into?
Sure, I can do that. Mr. Kojo was the first one out there. Digging Freedom. Tommy with I'm a Redneck Cockerham. Jimmy the Fish. The Fat Man. Let's see who else we got. Will Hornbuckle. Gerald B. T.R. Prepper. Flint and Steel Survival. Some guy named Mike DeLucia. Pop's Quest for a Simple Life. And that looks to be all right. Well, hang on. Having some technical difficulties scrolling down, but that's okay. That seems to be it.
Thanks. Ohio, I just read that internal, and I was just chuckling. I just saw it just a minute ago. So.
Oh, the Quagmire,
Yeah,
the Quagmire.
I said
Welcome to the Quagmire.
You know, hey Bird Dog, what's going on? Thanks for coming. All right, so we're gonna do our thing like we normally do on the Quagmire. We'll talk for a little while on our current events, and then we'll go into whatever. But there was a topic that came up before we went on air, before we came live, that I wanted to talk about, and I'm gonna hand it over to TR, because TR and Frank were talking about it. So I want you guys to about the UN stuff, guys. So if you want to lead with that.
Yeah. Go ahead, Frank.
No, I was gonna say you go ahead because you know a little bit more than I do, but.
What I keep forgetting the name. A Trans-Pacific Partnership, I believe is the name of it, something like that. I've heard about it for a while, but I did some in-depth reading on it today. And this is potentially scary stuff. I mean, if nothing else, the way they are going about letting the congressmen even see it should throw up red flags to everybody and anybody, especially the ones that's supposed to vote on it. The fact that they're not allowed to see it unless they see it behind closed doors with no cameras, no notes, no aides, from what I gather. They could only go in there by themselves, under surveillance. You know, they're under watch, and they let them have one piece of paper at a time. And I didn't read this off of just some kind of conspiracy website. I think one of them, I got it off the Drudge Report to start with, but I think it went to a ABC or something like that. I mean, it was, legit stuff. We ain't talking tinfoil hat crap here. Only 2 Republicans have even read it, or that would admit that they have read it. And then once they read it, then they can't talk about it to anybody. And then they expect them to vote for it. Is that not some shady shit right there? I mean, it's like you just can't get any more crazy on a law being passed. And then once it's passed, from what's been leaked out, then these other countries can change policy, or the president can change policy, and Congress can't override it. It's just bad stuff. I mean, and who knows? It's like anything else. Okay, they may tell you it only covers this. This is just to help whatever. man, who knows what's in the fine print behind? You know, I mean, it's just crazy. It's like
Sounds
basically
like
they was
There,
basically
there,
we're
sounds
giving up.
like NAFTA 2.0 or something, man.
yeah,
Yeah,
there,
that's what
there is
some.
a section. There's a section that was leaked by WikiLeaks, that has a lot to do with internet commerce, and it would severely regulate the internet if you have your own store on the internet, your own website, and you're doing commerce through PayPal or whatever. You would have to pay certain tariffs and things like that through this partnership. So it's basically trying to crush anybody that has any outside side job through the internet too.
Doesn't seem. What's the word I'm looking for? I don't want to just use the word right, but it doesn't seem that. I just find it hard. I'm hoping, anyways, that this is like a,
Well, Congress should
bad dream.
Congress should immediately say we're not voting on anything we can't see. Bottom line.
Exactly.
And they're just going along with it. So makes you wonder why the heck would they even give them the time of day if they're not allowed to read it, discuss it in open chamber so we all know what's in it, and then vote on it. For God's sakes, we're the ones that vote them in. They represent us.
Bird Dog just posted the final link for global currency and banking commerce leading to digital money.
Yeah.
Wouldn't this be strike three for things they've been brought to them they didn't get a chance to read? You've got your Patriot Act, you've got this, and then you had the Obamacare. Am I correct on those first two?
Well, this seems to be a growing trend now. Let's see what else we can dupe the public with.
I mean, most of the time, congressmen and representatives don't read bills, and that's bad enough as it is. But when they're not allowed to read the bill before they vote on it, or at least it's very restricted on what they can read, and why isn't it made known to the public?
Exactly. Well, that's my other point.
This ain't top secret military shit, or is it? I mean, who knows? But if how is it? Is it a threat to national security if we see what the bill is? If it is, what in hell kind of trade agreement is it?
But I find it hard that they would. It's that top secret, because obviously all the aides, everybody that's going to see that, then I come across it. You guys know as well as I do, aides see bills and everything like that too. So it can't be all too top secret.
They're not allowed to get the bill. They can't have the bill. The bill is kept behind doors, locked doors. They're not gave the bill to read. Period.
So that in of itself would I'm whoever, all right. I'm Ted Kennedy, all right, back in the day, and I'm gonna vote on something I can't read. Well, I have to go read behind closed doors. Sounds a little fishy right off the bat, don't it?
Well, it was the same crap with that that new bill that passed with the internet.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
They've been trying to push that for years. They finally were able to push it through for some reason. And again, it was presented. They were supposed to be able to look at it. They were not given the opportunity to look at it, but they voted for it anyway. And what it's boiling down to now, you saw everyone voted Republican because they wanted a change. So this is a great example of these parties are not too far different. You think you're voting, Republican because you want, some conservative, leadership, and you're getting, Democrat light, That's what you're getting.
Go ahead, Matt. What were you going to say?
Well, I often talk about the apathy of Americans and how ultimately it's our responsibility and our fault that we're in the position we're in right now. Maybe not this generation, maybe not anybody that's sitting on this panel, but Americans nonetheless. And this is the point. This is one of those instances where you need to call your representatives. You need to email them and tell them, listen, we want to see this bill. This bill should be published in its entirety to the public. Because you're not going to vote for something in my name as my representative without me knowing what it is.
Yeah, that's a must. People really have to start speaking out.
Does it have a TR or Frank, either one of you just know, does it have a name, number to it that we can publish?
It's a Trans-Pacific Partnership Treaty.
That's going to be okay. Usually follows a number with that, like HN, yada, 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 or anything like that.
Everyone knows it as TTP.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure, however, if you go to Mark Levin's website, there is a website dedicated to people voicing their opinion to their representatives on that website. And I think the link is on Mark Levin's website. If anyone's familiar with Mark Levin.
Yeah, I think we're all familiar with him.
Yeah.
Because
he's been advertising it pretty heavy.
That's just like I said. Let's hope we can all do that, and that gets squashed before it even goes.
All right. Yeah, I won. Whoops, sorry.
Wow.
Really?
Okay. Breaking news: Will Hornbuckle won another contest. Which one was it, Will?
He won some socks.
Who's the roulette wheel? 10 black. God damn it.
Hey, maybe he won't get this one sent to him either. The winnings.
Yeah. Another Skywarp contest.
Right. But yeah,
I'm gonna do a big giveaway and have a really cool prize, and just have like 30 Will Hornbuckle names in there, and not send them it.
There's something. It's just that it's still not sitting well with me that how private this bill's supposed to be. How does that? Aren't there rules and laws that we have set up that cannot happen?
One would think.
Well, that's where the Patriot Act comes in.
So you're telling me this new bill now comes under the Patriot Act, and the Patriot Act is now...
Anything in there that has to do with security, I think they reserve the right not to show Congress or something to that effect. And that's why all this crud is being pushed, and they're saying you can't see it, you can't read it, that kind of stuff. That's why that Patriot Act has got to go.
Well, and like I said, it's not that they can't read it; it's the conditions that they have to go through to read it, and then the fact that it's not released to the public or not allowed. I mean, it's not even released to them. Where they, because how bills are. It'll be a damn book, stack of papers like this. You can't look at that page by page and have any freaking idea what's going on. I mean, there'll be a line like, on the referendum 1752B, we will change line 3 from if to when. And that'll be it. And so you got to go back and research what was referendum, blah, 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 to even know what the hell that sentence is. And that whole thing will be full of that. That's what the Patriot Act was. They gave it to them.
You have to pass it to see what's in it, TR.
Yeah. The Patriot Act was like that. There was a lot of stuff that it was laws already on the books, but they was just changing a word or omitting or adding a word to line such and such on referendum, blah, 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 And they gave it to them, what was it, the night before was the final changes. They had just a few hours. And, you're talking a book this big, and it's nothing but cross-references back and forth. There was no way in hell anybody could have had any freaking idea what was in it. And I'm sure this is the same way, but that they're not letting them even study it for a few hours. You know what I mean? It's like, here's the work. Here, read that paper. Okay, here's the next page, and they can't take notes. So that right there, that's just straight up. I don't even know how bad you could write say that is. I mean, it's just so shady that it's sickening.
Well, that you got to get a call to your congressman, your representative now, because as we know, summertime coming up, they're gone. So I would be able to get a hold of them.
Let's face it, Mike. Are they ever really there?
Well,
Yeah, I got left a off topic of that, but same topic on representatives. My wife and I, we went down to Washington D.C. and with the Children's Miracle Network, and every kid that was there was 50 kids, one from each state and one from each province in Canada, and every kid that went had their either congressman, senator, somebody came down and did their thing with the kid. Okay, they schmoozed. I call it schmoozing. Okay, except for guess what state? So
Massachusetts.
right, and so I let them. I came home and I let them all have it because it was during the. It was a few years back when the baseball, when McGuire and all those guys were in Washington about the steroids.
Yeah.
It's the exact same time, but everybody else came down and did their thing. So they already left a bad taste in my frickin' mouth to begin with. And I was told then down there that if you ever needed to get a hold of your rep or something like that, you should do it long before June. Because they're not going to be there.
Mike, the timing of this, you just had that problem in Texas. You had the Baltimore thing, and then what they're trying to do is flood with all these national stories and things like that, and try and get it under the radar so people aren't paying attention because they're distracted with other things.
Let's just hope that doesn't happen for some reason.
Yeah, I think if people want to, they can say what they want about Alex Jones, but actually, if you go on his website, he has a lot of information on the Trans-Pacific Partnership.
Jimmy the Fish says, confuse people so they can keep their nose out of it, and basic legal rule.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much.
Yeah. That's what that bullshit was all about. You don't hear nothing about it no more.
Right.
No.
Yeah, so that's. Hopefully there'll be a bunch of congressmen that are going to sit back and laugh and just not even vote for it. So.
Well, they got to keep your eye off. A little bit change subject, but not. I mean,
well, go ahead.
Instead of focusing on, say, this partnership thing, we was just talking about this law, the Trans-Pacific Partnership.
Mm-hmm.
What's most of the news been on? These two guys down in Texas, that disrupted. I know it's a change of subject a little bit.
Segue right into it
now. I'm just saying that two guys got out with assault weapons, so-called assault weapons. We'll just say high-powered rifles, semi-automatic. They get out, start shooting. Well, I think it might have hit one guy in the leg or something like that, and then another guy, a concealed weapon permit holder, which might have been a retired police or active police off duty. Yeah, took them both out with a fucking 45.
Right.
They were shitty shots. They really wasn't ISIS. Somehow tried to, what we just heard from Ohio earlier off air, like they tried to blow the car up. They failed at that. They might have caught it on fire, but it evidently didn't burn up. I mean, it didn't blow up. Couldn't hit the broadside of a barn, and yet that's getting all the attention.
Right. Well, it's getting all the attention, and I don't have to tell you why it's getting all the attention, because one, it's like you said, it's an assault weapon. Okay, so that's going to get eye candy and headlines and everything else right away. And let's thank God they didn't. Let's thank God they couldn't hit a barn. But
well, you know what? Bird Dog says it right there. It's diversion, TR. Don't look at Hillary. When that book came out, and of course it's Fox News,
right?
Because they're conservative. They want to push their agenda of Clinton Cash, that book that came out, and bring up all the points of where their money's coming from and all this stuff. Well, the same day that happened, the White House releases press release on the American killed by the drone attack overseas, you know.
Yeah.
But he was killed by a drone 4 months ago.
4 months ago.
But they're going to release it. They're going to release that information on the same day that Hillary's getting fucking pounded by the press. You know, she's answered like 7 questions since she's announced that she's running for president.
Yeah.
You know, she won't even give a fucking interview to anybody.
Yeah.
I don't think
she can't handle the tough questions, and it's all just diversion, like Bird Dog say, it's diversion.
I just hope.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, Frank. Go ahead.
Go ahead. I was just gonna say to me there's no coincidence with any of this stuff. We're right in the middle of this Jade Helm stuff. You have ISIS supposedly issuing that they have cells in certain states. They name which states they're supposedly in or what they're going to target. Then you have what just happened in Texas. You know, it's a conditioning. You know, it's a good thing they're doing Jade Helm and there's military on the around their cities in case anything like this happens again. We might we'll have someone there. You know, it's that whole let's scare everybody to relinquish their freedom. And we got to be very careful of that.
Yeah, I don't see how these two banana heads are with ISIS. I mean, obviously.
Well, I don't really think they're with ISIS. I mean, ISIS is claiming that they are. I think they were just ISIS sympathizers.
Well, ISIS wannabes, one or the other.
Yeah,
you know,
I mean, exactly.
If we do this, if we do this, maybe they'll let us join.
I mean, it's like, if I went out and started shooting a bunch of people up, I would be a, Tea Party sympathizer or Patriot Movement sympathizer or something. You know what I mean? That's how the media would portray me. Not some crazy fuck that just lost his mind and decided to kill people. We have to attach them to some type of evil, entity to fight. We always have to have a bad guy.
Yeah, you gotta have somebody to hate.
Never let it
get right. Chelsea's out there, Mike. You better say hello.
Who is?
Chelsea.
Oh, hi Chelsea. How are you, honey? How are you?
It's like they say, never let a good crisis go to waste.
They weren't organized.
Exactly.
They weren't organized. My kitchen dump drawer was more organized than them fools were.
I think.
Well, I guarantee you, the next one will be organized.
I think ISIS. I believe there is a group, a somewhat organized group, ISIS. I mean, I don't deny that. I don't think it's nowhere near the threat they try to make it to be, at least not to us, or especially if we got the hell out of there. But I think they damn near almost like a political campaign. Whereas if somebody's even half-ass sympathetic to them, even if, say, the group thinks, you know what, that's a crazy son of a bitch, but at the same time they kind of represent us a little bit, let's give them a bunch of flags. Give them a couple of AKs and let them run around out there and cause havoc and make their organization look bigger and bigger and bigger. And there may be some sporadic little chaos going on here and there. This is just my opinion. But this is kind of what it looks like to me. You got like a small little group. They may be a well organized little group, but they're making their group look really big. Kinda. It's our media makes them look freaking huge. Oh, they're taking over whole freaking countries. And it's just a couple little bands of, basically Arabic rednecks. That's what they are. And they're out there just stirring up shit, And the media points it out. Oh, they're taking over whole fucking countries, And then the American public's scared, and they'll bow down and let them do whatever they want.
Well, it makes you wonder how they can have their own websites and their own Twitter accounts and their own Facebook pages, and those aren't taken down.
Exactly.
But you play Boston on on one of your videos, and you're shut down. I mean, really?
Give me 1 second. Good night, Chelsea.
Make you realize.
Pleasant dreams. All right, guys, I had to go say goodbye to a little girl. Sorry about that. Hey, Knuckleback, what's happening? Red Beam, good to see you.
I mean, that's the stuff that just, I don't know. I mean, I just kind of look at all that stuff. How are you allowing them to get organized when you're giving them the means to get organized, and you're not doing anything about it? I don't understand that one.
Oh no, I think that part's probably real hard because of cell phones and whatnot, and
Toss them, right?
so many of them out there. You can just switch, boom, 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 boom.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you got the throwaways. You get those throwaway $20 cell phones and
My tinfoil hat on.
There
Well,
you
being that
T.I.'s got that ashtray on his head again.
we're probably the ones funding
Pop
fucking
on your
ISIS,
head.
we're the ones funding ISIS. That's probably why we're not taking their shit down.
Right. Well, but
Who are we helping? Who
what's
are
Frank
we
saying?
helping in Yemen? Do you know who we helping in Yemen? ISIS.
ISIS, yeah.
So if they're our friend in Yemen, are we really attacking them over here in this country? But over here, we're giving them goods and services and helping them. But yet, they don't talk about that. But it's that's what it is. I mean, it's all bullshit. I'm sorry, it's all bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
It's
What was I gonna say about TR? You were just talking about it, and I just kind of had a Mike Delusion moment or something.
oh, that means you're getting old, T.I. I mean, Ohio.
They like
T.I.'s already old, but now you're getting old, Ohio.
George Bush, Bin Laden family thing or something a long time ago.
No.
They used to be
How we're funding ISIS and we don't understand how, if we're funding them, how we can't.
Oh no, I seen on either CNN or One News Network or something like that other day. We're actually sending troops over to train Syrian rebels, even though they are affiliated with Al Qaeda. So we're actually going to they're putting boots on the ground as as they said they wouldn't do, but it's come around to that, because there's no way to train Syrian rebels without sending someone over to train them. So we've already got troops over in Ukraine, so
we've done that numerous times throughout history, though. We change sides and all that stuff. Whoever's helping us at the time.
Is that right?
Yeah. Right, but I mean, they're talking. I mean,
but the difference is
what I'm afraid of. I'm sorry, Matt, but what I'm afraid of is if you get rid of the regime in Syria, it's going to be just like we did in Iraq. We're going to leave it with a government that can't protect itself, and it's going to be taken over by extremists.
We did a good
That's
job.
the plan, though. They don't want. See, this is the thing. Which general? Was it Petraeus? About 4 or 5 years ago, said that there was already a plan in place to destabilize the Middle East. And the reason what they want to do is they don't want these small countries that have their own sovereignty. What they want are like, the EU, the North American Union. This is what they want. They don't want sovereign countries. So, the whole idea is to destabilize the whole region and just make it one region, take away the country and just make it one, region. Sounds out there, but to hear it come from General Petraeus' mouth, what are you led to believe?
It wasn't Petraeus. I know what you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about. It was I'll have to look it up real quick. But yeah, he's like a analyst on one of the news shows now or something, or was this here the other day. But yeah, they had this plan to take out 7 nations, Iraq, blah blah blah. It's all laid out.
Yeah, and that's
But
exactly what's happening right now.
Yeah, I agree with you. Their plan is to destabilize the whole Middle East, and in the meantime, they're using that as an excuse for boogeymen.
Mm-hmm.
It was Al Qaeda. Now it's ISIS. And I wouldn't be surprised it will have some other faction that we helped start in one way or another. If nothing else, like by destabilizing Syria, could start another faction. It may be a real faction. It's just a small, not that powerful. They may be powerful in Syria. They're just not powerful in the entire world that our media and government tells us.
Right.
I mean, if it's a McCain or a Senator Graham here in South Carolina, piece of shit, but they're all for the NSA. Oh, we got to have our records kept and phone records and the emails, and because the enemy is out there, and it's a band of damn Arab freaking rednecks halfway across the world. But we're gonna, just rip up the Constitution because it's a small little bitty group.
Right.
And the media and the government has the majority of Americans fooled into thinking they are a threat.
John McCain was on CNN. There's a link in there that I shared. He was on CNN talking to 2 of the, morning hosts or whatever to the show about how bad of a blow the federal ruling on the NSA was, and they want to appeal it. Because it's a blow to national security. We need to be able to spy on Americans.
HNRE 42. He wrote something kind of cool. I wanted to read to you. He in the external, he wrote, training the local rebels and guerrillas, teaching them to overthrow their current government is basically what our special forces guys have done for decades, which is true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true.
If it was
but
done,
we don't need
hang on.
But we don't need to be in Syria.
If done in our country, it'd be called terrorism.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Well,
Right.
if you think about it, they're trying to do a one world currency because all the currencies are failing. If you can destabilize, and they have no working currency or a currency that isn't backed by anything, of course they're gonna, want to join a world currency. But what's standing in the way of that? If you have something like Saudi Arabia, who has their own standing currency that has backing to it, what are you going to say to them? You're going to say, well, you can't trade with us unless you're part of this currency too. Your money's worthless. You see what I'm saying? I mean, how are these countries going to survive if they don't have a currency? If you destabilize them, look at Iraq. They were trying to establish their dinar back again. And now the whole country's gone again. It's just, and it's happening all over. Greece, their currency just collapsed. It was already on the way out anyway, but it's completely gone now.
The entire world's financial state is literally impossible to pay off.
Well,
even our debt.
My philosophy on all this stuff is follow the money. People don't invest unless they're going to get a bigger return out of it. So if we're backing a country to destabilize it, we're investing our resources for another end. Same as other countries, So there's always a money trail to all this stuff. There always is. The Vietnam War, the Gulf of Tonkin, there was huge profits to be made off of that. Look at the first the Iraq War. Who made huge money off of that? Halliburton.
Well, my the point I was about to make was the fact that all the currencies are in such bad shape and shambles, about to fall. The entire world, and it's just it's a ticking time bomb. And or even however you want to put it, the fuse is short. She's about to blow because it's just impossible for it to sustain. It's mathematically, hell, our debt alone is mathematically impossible. There's only $10.9 trillion US dollars in the world, but we owe 18. I don't care what kind of damn math you use. There's no way you can pay off $18 trillion if you only got 10.9.
Mm-hmm.
And that's if your daughter breaks open her piggy bank, every Swiss bank account, every China turns in all their. That's all there is. Period. That's the monopoly box. It's got 10.9 trillion in it. That's all there is. Period.
But you see, that's my point, TR. Okay, so let's think about that. We know that we owe $18 trillion. That's our national debt. Why in God's name would you heavily regulate any form of an industry that we have? Why would you completely crush the coal, the coal power plants, that generate the power for the automotive industry? And why are we allowing our big industries to go overseas when we need that gross national product?
Well,
Yeah,
but that's why it goes overseas. So I mean that's
right.
Our buddy Clinton and Bush put the NAFTA in there, so that screwed us many years ago.
Right, but
So,
they can take away a lot of the regulations that are impeding
They could.
other industries.
They
I
could.
mean, look what they're doing to the coal industry right now.
Yeah, I mean,
the biggest resource we have, and they've regulated it so severely, they're crushing the states that depend on that. It just doesn't make sense to me.
And I'm not. I'm a lot more educated than I was a few years ago on the Federal Reserve and the monetary system, how it works. But the majority of the people just don't understand. I didn't understand a few years ago. Hell, I thought the Federal Reserve was the government. I thought it was part of the government. I didn't know. Until because they don't tell you. They're starting to tell you now. Now they actually do sometimes call it a central bank now, but they didn't 5-10 years ago. But I've had somebody like at work, kind of half-assed discussing it, and they're like, well, because I was explaining how there was only so much money, but we owe this much, and their response was, well, that's why when when people have jobs and the companies give out the checks, your earnings, there's where they get that extra money. I'm like, no, you don't get it. The money you're getting paid from your employer is part of that pot. It's still it's a monopoly bank. You're playing Monopoly. This is how much you got to work with. The company don't print money. They don't make money. It's all the same money, just changing hands. But the majority of people don't get that. Hell, to be honest with you, I didn't really get that a few years ago.
Well, and see, this is the thing, TR. Okay, let's say, we were pretty much raised that, I know back when I was growing up, when I was younger, all you needed was a high school education. You could go to GM or Ford, get a good job. You could take care of your family. And it was a respectable job. You were part of a union, and you did your 25 years, and you retired, and that's kind of how it was. Now you take away all those jobs. Now you have people that where do they fall to? Walmart or whatever, because they sure can't afford education.
Well,
hold
on.
So what I'm trying to say is, let's say you have people like Chad here, who has his own business, and he's dealing, with knives or whatever, and he's making something out of himself by what he enjoys, and he's made a business out of it. Well, in comes this Trans-Pacific Partnership and the internet regulations, and they say, you know what, Chad, you can't do that anymore. Now what?
No,
you see what I'm saying?
No, I see what you're saying. It's gonna screw everything up totally, and I just totally forgot what the hell I was gonna say too.
Then I'm gonna
Sorry
start.
about that.
No, it's not your fault. Go ahead, Chad.
I just said I'm gonna start selling liquor then.
That's right.
Dollar is to it. It's going underground, baby.
That's right.
They're trying. Hey, they're trying. They're trying to jack up the taxes on the land that flea markets and stuff like that's on right now.
I just got Stan Olch. You guys, sometimes you guys see him Stan in the external and stuff, but and then on Google, Stan shared a video today, and one of on the Koch brothers. What's his name that's running for president? That just announced the other day that he's running for president. The thing's for him, but anyway, on how they want the retirement age to go to 70. And I'm like, you keep going higher and higher. Who the hell wants a, who the hell wants who wants a 70-year-old tree guy? You know what I'm saying? Or you know what I mean? Or a 70-year-old truck driver driving a tractor trailer at 70 years old. You know what I mean? I got my old man's 71. He can still do it, but can he do it 50 hours a week? No.
But that's so they can say, oh yeah, we saved Social Security. We saved it. All we did was raise the age limit of it.
And they would touched on Social Security too, and they said how some people think that Social Security isn't gonna, how they want to make it almost like your 401k. You have a chance of losing. I'm like, no. I says, I've been putting that in for that some bitch since 1982. I at least better get this freaking money I put into it out of it. You know what I mean? You owe me that much.
I wouldn't bet my life on that one.
I know. I'm just saying. Hey, Shem, how are you? Jana Phelps, good to see you. Who else did I miss? Did I miss anybody? Pop's Quest for a Simple Life. Hello. Mr. Tommy Boy.
See, the thing is, people forget history. And, when Germany collapsed and people were taking wheelbarrows full of their currency to buy a loaf of bread, people lived through the Depression, everything else. Those generations are gone. They can't really talk about it anymore. So we haven't experienced that. We've experienced nothing but, hey, if you want, you want a hamburger, you just go to McDonald's, get a hamburger. You want lettuce, you go and get lettuce. We're not geared right now to sustain ourselves because people are not. They're not being taught to have their own gardens and things like that. They forgot how to do all that to take care of their own selves. So to say that can't happen in the United States, yeah, it can happen. And it's just people think it won't, but it sure as heck can. It already has.
Well, prices, our dollar has devalued, I would say, 66% in the last 10 or 15 years. I mean, it's gone down steadily over time, but I mean, any of us sitting here, if you just sit back for 2 seconds and think about it, what you were buying 10, 12 years ago is now 3 times that price.
Mm-hmm.
Period. And it's not because stuff went up, it's because the value of our dollar went down. I mean, if you could buy, I could buy 22 bullets for $9 a 500 back in the 90s, and now it's fucking $30. I mean, it's not because the bullets went up; it's because the dollar ain't worth a damn.
I had this conversation with NC Digger. We were talking about silver coins, and if you think about it, if you find a silver quarter, let's say. You go to buy a silver quarter at the coin shop, it's about $2.70 just for a slick silver quarter, because it's basically whatever its weight in silver would be worth. So if you think about that, back then, that's what that quarter was worth, $2.70. That's how much our dollar has lost its value.
Yeah. Does anybody know what gold was on 9/11, 2001? I mean, I do, but I just wonder if anybody else.
I remember what gas was when I first started driving.
Anyhow, gold was
it was like closer to closer to $2,000, wasn't it, an ounce or something like that?
No, on 9/11/2001, it was about $250 an ounce.
Oh, two. Okay.
I just, I don't know if you can measure gold exactly with the value of the dollar, but since 2001, the past 15 years, gold was $250 an ounce. Silver was probably wasn't $5, I'd bet. I don't know. What was milk probably fucking $1.75 a gallon. I mean, gas was $1 a gallon or less.
Yeah, but how much is gold now, though?
It's about, I think it's come down. I think it's been $1,300 to $1,500 an ounce, somewhere in that range,
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken.
So, I mean, it's better to have gold now than it did back in 2001. But I understand where you're going with it, or the dollar. I mean, the reason gold is worth so much is because the dollar is worth shit.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, our dollar's not backed by anything. What's it backed by? It's a fiat currency. It's only backed by what? The gross national product?
Actually, well, it's the dollar. The dollar's not backed by anything.
Yeah.
Gold, though, is not really. I don't think really the gold is backed by. Well, the gold is backed by the value itself, I would suggest. Correct me if I'm wrong, but gold right now is just under 1,200. As far as I checked on the stats yesterday, that's U.S. So the time to buy, if you're going to be buying gold, they can go up to record numbers. So I would suggest the time would be now to buy some gold. Now again, but TR just said it though too. I mean, could it actually go down? I don't know. The direction of the country, debt, and so on and so forth. You start looking correlations like that. What would a financial collapse bring for a gold price? Would that actually drive the price of gold way up, or would that actually drive it way down? TR brings up a really good point. That's kind of making me scratch my head now, and I want to ask that question to see what y'all think. What would happen if the value of our dollar changed dramatically? You know what I mean?
Well, gold, silver, just like oil, the prices and value of that can be manipulated by the government through very few simple things, really, as well as our own currency. They manipulate the value of our own currency all the time, and that's how they get people fooled into thinking the value of the dollar is up and that it's worth something, and so on. We've seen dips in gold before, and that's through manipulation, not actual value to people.
Normally I don't want to even challenge what you're saying, Resist, but here's my thinking. And a government, I understand, can manipulate a stock market, for instance, in their country or whatever. And we understand this is on a global trading aspect just as much as a gold will, for instance. But do you think that gold then could be manipulated by one particular government, or you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, just like oil. Let's take oil for instance. The price of oil goes down depending on how much there's an agreed upon amount per barrel and how much is being imported. The value of anything, I don't care if it's water, food, valuables, gold, silver, is its rarity. And if the United States government allows the floodgates to open, say the EU and the United States government gets together and allows the gold floodgates to open, and as much gold as can be gotten is allowed to come into the countries, the value is going to go down.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
If I remember right, my grandmother told me a long time ago that FDR made it illegal to have gold, that you had to turn all your gold into the government. And if you were caught trying to buy anything with gold, that you could be imprisoned for it, and if you were caught accepting it for currency, you could be arrested for it.
Yeah, I heard that.
So that's worth looking at, because if, and that was in FDR's reasoning behind confiscating all the gold was to save the economy. So if it happened then, and this is what I mean about, people have to, think about history here. If that happened again, imagine if, you're taking all your savings, and you're buying gold, you're buying silver, whatever you're buying, and you have nothing really other than that, and they did that, you're basically screwed. You can't do anything with that gold.
Well, and you see examples of that lingering even today. There are people that get houses demolished, old wine cellars and so on. There's been several stories over the last decade where people have found like family heirlooms, the millions of dollars worth of gold, but since it's from that time frame, that they get it confiscated by the government because of that ruling, because of what FDR did. There are, and they do not get compensated for it at all because it's considered illegal to have.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's, I'm telling you what, anything happen, I'd rather have, a bag of beans than gold. You can't eat gold.
Yeah, that's something I've always wondered too. You just said that, a bag of beans over a bag of gold. And the shit hits the fan situation. People talk about saving precious metals for trade and stuff like that. But, if there's no demand for it, why would you need it? I mean, understand? I mean, I would, if I needed it, I would rather trade my bag of beans for two bags of ammo or something, something I need. I mean, what good is gold or silver going to do me if it doesn't?
Well, that's the thing, because people are going to look for things that are going to sustain their family. They're going to want seeds. They're going to want medical supplies. They're going to want. Those are the things that that people are going to be searching for.
I can understand after a while, and say that we start to rebuild. We get communities that are rebuilding. Then you need some type of source of, bartering with the gold, or then you choose gold for your economy. I can understand that, but right off the bat, I don't think gold's going to do you any good. Like you said, a bag of beans do you more good than a bag of gold.
You know what? People worry about prepping, and they go, it's too late in the game. I can't really prep. I can't buy all these storable foods, but you really can't. You can just every paycheck go out and buy a gallon of whiskey. Just 1 gallon of whiskey. It's $14. It doesn't have to be the expensive stuff. Just 1 gallon. Don't think that you can't trade that for anything.
Cigarettes.
Don't. And it's cheap. Razors, things like that, things that you wouldn't think of, toilet paper. I mean, those are things that are going to be commodities.
Hey, you guys got something wrong here, because, I mean, history has shown us there's always a demand for silver and gold. I mean, since it even was discovered and started being made.
Right, but I'll tell you what, Will, though, if you think about it, if you're in the Depression and your family's starving, would you rather have a bag of beans, or would you rather have, 10 pieces of silver?
I would have the silver so I could buy beans from somebody.
Okay, but what if no one wants your silver because they're hungry too?
We've been in the Depression before. It's not like we haven't been there before. We've already been.
I know,
but we're talking, though, like shit hit the fan, total destruction, total economy collapse, no government, zombie apocalypse bullshit that everyone talks about. That's where we were going with this, not just depression. Yeah, I mean, if the economy would fall and we would have, another Great Depression, and stock markets dropped, and companies were laying off, and unemployment rate went to 60% or something like that. Yeah, gold and silver, excellent backup plan. But we're talking apocalyptic, B movie topic bullshit on the Sci-Fi Channel. That's what we're talking about.
What we're basically talking about. Let's say you woke up tomorrow, and you just found out the dollar is worth what a dinar is worth in Iraq right now, which is like 1/10 of a cent. So what if you found out that all your money is gone, all your whole investments are gone? You know, stores are not going to accept. They're not set up to accept silver coins and things like that. The first thing that's going to happen is going to be a run on any food people can get. All the EBT cards are not going to be working. What do you think those people are going to be doing? So, you know, it's important to have at least some commodities that you can trade with. And that's what I'm trying to say. It's okay to. I'm not saying don't buy gold and silver. I'm just saying, I would rather have some commodities on hand too.
I agree with you guys, but here's the thing. This is something you really got to, in my opinion, you really have to understand is that not everyone is going to be bad off as you. And here's the other thing. It doesn't matter what you think you have to trade. It may not be what that person wants at the time that you really need. So the idea is many different options and keep your options open. And like I said, don't put everything in one basket. I agree with Will. I agree with you. I agree with Ohio. I certainly think that the more options you have, the better off you'll be. If you have a little bit of small-ended silver, small-ended gold, this is what you're going to want, because you don't want an ounce, because then you know what that bag of potatoes is going to cost. Well, what do you got? I have an ounce of gold. That's what it costs today. Now, of course, if that man goes up there and he goes up there and he's got 1/4 of an ounce, right, before me, guess what? His bag of potatoes cost him 1/4 of an ounce, because I didn't have smaller denominations, right? So just something to think about anyway.
Two things. One, thank you, Ohio, for inviting. I was just going to say that. Number two, back to the gold. Bird Dog just put in there, and I remember reading that too. That a family, it was way back that she wrote it, but a family found some gold coins, and the government took them. I remember reading that. And I remember when I read that, how pissed off I was, because they had no business doing that, obviously. You know, unless you find a national park, which yours is yours. And I remember saying my wife and my dad, we were talking about it, and I said, you know what? That's when you just turn it to the black market. You keep it to yourself. You know, you melt it down, or you do whatever you got to do, and go sell it on your own, and take the cash, or then go buy go whatever else with it. You know, go buy prepping items. Go do whatever. But don't let the government take it. That was just unbelievable.
Well, what was that couple that found that coffee can full of almost gold coins?
Yeah.
And the government tried to seize all those, and they didn't seize them because they couldn't prove that they first thought they were stolen from a mint or something, because they were in such good shape.
It's just like wasn't it up in your area, Will? Where was it a woman and her daughter or somebody? They had 40 grand in cash, and they wanted to take the 40 grand in cash because there's some stupid ass law that says you can't carry that much money with you. Am I right on that?
You got all kinds of civil forfeiture laws that are just ridiculous.
Unbelievable.
You know?
My money,
you got $2,000 cash on you. You get pulled over by a cop.
Right.
You know, you're automatically a drug dealer, and he takes your money.
Right. It's just phenomenal. I don't want to get off track on the goal, but that is just phenomenal.
Happened to me.
And I also like to say hello to Shimmer. Thanks for joining us, Flint. Good to see you, good to see you, brother.
How's it going, everybody?
Thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Just to touch back on that, this should let everybody know, don't ever call the cops, and don't ever let the government know shit about anything you're doing if you can help it. If you find a pot of gold, don't tell nobody.
Exactly. Exactly.
Well, you show one coin, maybe. You know.
If anything, you just take a coin at a time and go trade it in at the local coin shop and say, I just want something different, you know, and go to different coin shops and get it in something else or whatever. But don't let everybody know. Don't call them the NBC local affiliate and say, hey, we found all this gold. That'd be a dumbass move.
That'd be a dumb move anyway. I mean, hey, I'm your cousin Billy Bob Johnson from, removed 3 times. It's like winning the lottery.
Now, silver and gold's very heavy too. I think you got to keep yourself mobile, able to carry shit, by hand if necessary. So you got to think of, stuff that you can.
Satchel or something, yeah, but you have to.
Yeah. I mean,
Well,
you can carry so much silver and gold and tools and bottles of whiskey and shit like that.
Well, all I'm saying is, I'm not set up to be bugging out anywhere, and this is my home. So you know what?
You gonna go down to the ship?
I'm going down to the ship, man. It's my home.
Frank's just gonna drink him a gallon of whiskey and say, "Fuck it."
That's right, man.
Yeah.
Let's have a party.
I'm not going nowhere.
See, I rent. I don't own, so that's a problem for me right there.
So
My wife and kids are not set up to be bushwhackers or any of that, I mean, this is their home. So, I can't take them through the woods and teach them how to, kill a deer and dress it and all that. I mean, that stuff ain't going to happen, man.
You can.
Well, I got news for a lot of people. That stuff ain't gonna happen anyway. Anybody that thinks they're gonna bug out to the woods and survive in the woods, killing deer and squirrels and shit, we'll find a lot of their skeletons out in the fucking woods. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
They will die.
It can be done, but you gotta be. Ooh.
You talk about survival of the fittest. There'll be like 0.7% of those people that go do that will survive.
You better be John Rambo.
Yeah, that's about it.
We just lost Matt and Shamma. We
Why
just
do you
lost
guys
them.
think that? That's strange to me.
Well, no one would let him talk, so.
Why do you guys think that so low chances for people in the woods? I don't.
I think it all depends where you go. So low chances. You go to a state like mine that's way too small. Rhode Island, Connecticut, shit, even New York, because people move up. But I think you could. It all depends how many people go in there, though. You know what I mean?
Well, it all depends on where, too.
That's what I mean. It all depends where you're going. I mean, if you're in Alaska, fuck yeah, you can survive. You just got to learn how to survive in minus 50-degree weather.
Right.
But can you? Yeah.
But even people that go way out in Alaska, or you look back at the frontier days. I mean, I'm not saying it can't be done, period. But even people in Alaska and stuff, they'll, they get hides, they get goods they can sell to get not utilities, but other stuff they need, flowers,
trading
sugar.
posts, right?
Well, if you're out in the woods by yourself, guess what? They ain't none of that. It's just you in the woods, your freaking knife and some paracord or whatever, and they ain't well, I need some more coffee, or I need some more rope, or I need some more
bushcraft stuff. I mean, that's why I do it.
There's 5,000 other motherfuckers just like you out there.
Exactly. You're out there in the woods, you got to defend your life. Every little thing you need, in 5 years, your clothes are gone. You got to figure out how to make fucking clothes. I'm talking everything. You're having to skin animals to make clothes and stuff. It's not what people think it is.
No, T.I., you're right. But that's where bartering comes in, though. So in other words, if I want, 3 pounds of coffee, and I know you have friggin' 100 pounds of coffee, right?
Yeah, but you're not talking about bugging out. I'm talking about people that think they're going to bug out into the woods and survive out in the woods by themselves or with their family.
No, you're not. Well, when I said that, I didn't mean totally I mean, you're going to have to go to, you're going to have to trade and barter with people even out in the woods. It's inevitable. It's inevitable. You have to. You can't do it by yourself.
You have to come back into town.
Right.
Yeah, you're going to have to barter with. I mean, this is the other thing. It's become the most dangerous game because now the trust you're bartering with, you're going to have to figure out the duration, geographical location, your knowledge level, the amount of people, again in that geographical location, how many other people, like you guys have said, how many other people are going up there to do that?
Right.
You know, in that same location. Plus the wildlife, again, geographical location. How much wildlife is it sustainable? I mean, the natives moved around in some locations because they had to. You know, so on a 2-year plan with well thought out preps and pre-planned destination and pre-stocked, yeah, you know what, that's easy. But TR brings up a very good point of the fact of some of the staples, you know, flour, sugar, salt. You know, if you don't know how to utilize that in an area to even manufacture salt, for instance, or have substitutes, or even substitutes for some of the other things. Again, knowledge, man. It's gonna be huge. Yeah.
No, you're right. You know.
Well, it makes you think about why were there even Native American tribes? Because there's strength in numbers. You know.
Well, they always did something right that lasted all those years. I mean.
You said something about numbers. That's another thing to consider too. You know, there's going to be a dramatic amount of people dying, so there will be a loss of life, and the numbers will decrease certainly. Most people won't even try to venture out of the city environment. They'll try to make it work because they don't know anything different. But again, we're not talking about the numbers that we had back during the Native American or the tribes of the Indians or so on and so forth, where they could roam and you know, get to other like-minded tribes, you know, to do bartering. Now, man, this is going to be quite a bit different, I would suggest.
Oh yeah. You know, unless you go up north to Canada where all the penguins are. And...
They're hard to kill. I'm just going to put it right out there right now, guys. Man, they're hard to kill.
They're tough, aren't they?
If you woke up and your money was only worth, I think Frank said, whatever, 10 cents.
No, a tenth of a penny.
Tenth of a penny. Okay, let's say that happens, right?
Yeah.
Now, would you rather have some silver and gold, or would you rather have the regular money that's worth a tenth of a penny? What do you think is going to be worth more?
Right to our will.
Well, that's what people in the UK are doing right now. A lot of silver stackers are in the UK because for them, they're investing in their own wealth. They're investing in their own future by stacking silver. And that's what I'm not saying it's a bad thing to do. As a matter of fact, I think it's a good thing to do. But what I'm also saying, though, is you shouldn't put all your eggs in one basket. You know, you should look at bullets and things like that, things that people are going to need or want.
And a bug out, like Will said, you got to consider your weight, right? So if you're not going to a predetermined location, or you're taking what you got and going, like Will said, you want to make sure that you have a little bit of everything, and again, had prioritized it, qualified what it is you're taking, what you're going to need to take. If you haven't, you know, if you have prospected going to a predetermined location that's already well stocked, you know, Will's conundrum, of course, is going to be a little bit easier to manage. However, if you're not, then Will's, you know, statement is very much relevant, and Will's probably the guy you want with you because he's going to tell you put that sink down. That sink is not going with us, damn it. You know, so.
Right, but you know, not everyone has a bunker to run to or whatever. I mean, no one does. I mean, I can't afford to have, you know, a $250,000 underground bunker that's all, you know, self-sufficient, you know. So what I got is what I got. I'm not planning on going anywhere.
Right.
You know.
Frank, you need to go to Sam's Club and buy the big 64-ounce container of A1 steak sauce.
Okay.
because I don't know what human flesh tastes like, but I'm pretty sure A1 steak sauce is going to make it taste better.
It makes everything better.
Hey,
Right.
Frank, I'm with you. You know, I got my trailer way up, not way up, but it's about 80 miles and 75 miles north of me. You know, so I'm not gonna be able to get at it. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I have a cabin in the UP, but that's, you know, 600 miles away.
That's what I'm saying. You know, you're not gonna get at it.
I'm not gonna get at it. There's no way.
I'm not gonna get at mine. Mine's only 70 miles away, 75
I'll
miles
be in
away.
that cabin before you get there.
But you know, so that's why everybody's situation is going to be different, and everybody's excuse me, everybody's preps are going to be different.
Mm-hmm.
You know, depending upon what you're doing, where you are. You know, so Will's is going to be different than ours because we're staying. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you might not have that choice. You don't know, is the nuclear bomb hit your city? Does the volcano blow up and you have to move? You might not have a choice. You might have to move, right?
Right, and that might be very well the case. I mean, it's all going to depend on what, you know.
Yeah, what happens and.
Yeah, what happens, duration, you know, that's another damn good point, though, is that, you know, Doomsday Preppers is, you know, one of the good things about that is it shows how many different people are preparing for different things according to their geographical location or their fears or their understanding of things. And yeah, I think the safe bet is to prepare for as much as you can over as many different scenarios as you can, because I don't think anybody has it completely right or has it completely guessed, you know? I know I don't. If anybody else does on the panel or on the outside, please. You're a Canadian solid.
I think it's all the future. The future is just what happens.
Well, and it all depends on, you know, if you're single, if you're married, do you have kids? How old are you? You know, do you have medical problems? You know, do you need insulin? You know, these sort of things. All that's going to determine what you're going to do in those situations too.
How much room you have if you're in an apartment and can only stock so much. You know, there's a lot of factors.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think you gotta, when we're preparing for a shit hit the fan, the shit hit the fan could just be a super hard depression. I mean, if you look at a lot of the stats, we're probably in just about as bad a depression as we was in the 30s or 20s right now. And if anybody wants to question that, take away welfare and food stamps and housing, Section 8 and all that, and see where we'd be. It'll be soup lines. We are in the same situation. The government's just subsidizing it. So if it gets worse, it's going to be a super hard depression. So I think even prepping, I don't care if it's a balcony garden or whatever, do a little canning, whatever you can do to put back, because if it just ends up being a really hard depression, you're going to need that extra food that you can't afford 2 years from now or is not even available. If nothing else, that could be the shit hit the fan scenario to prep.
And you got to think, there's also like churches and food pantries that help so many people out that don't qualify for government assistance but still have trouble surviving on their own, you know? Food pantries, I donate to a food pantry quite a bit, you know? And there's one in our town that, you know, the kids, they always take canned foods to school for the food pantry and stuff because, you know, there are people out there that hard times hit, and guess what? There's no one there to help them.
Mm-hmm. That's why I like watching the Peachy Prepper stuff. She's canning every day. Every day she's saving everything. She's canning it, and, you know, and she understands, you know, that's, you know, and some people, you know, laugh at her about that. I think she's a damn smart woman, you know.
It's really not prepping, though. You know what it is? It's basic survival. It's what our grandparents used to do.
Right, exactly.
You know,
and we've lost that by going to Kroger every day, you know?
Right. There was no grocery store where my grandma and grandpa, where they were at. You know, they had to drive all day to get to a grocery store. You know, my mom talks about milking the cow and raising the hog and getting the eggs, you know, the chickens every day and growing, you know, and it wasn't that they were farmers. It was just, that's what everyone had back then to survive. You had a cow for milk. You had chickens for eggs. You had a pig that you fed and you slaughtered it for bacon for the year or whatever. And you grew your own corn and your green beans and your carrots and your potatoes and all that. And it was all on a plot of land no bigger than what we all live on now, you know?
Ohio, you you brought me back. When I was a kid, I'd go down. My grandmother would send me down to the basement for something, you know. Now, keep in mind that my grandmother's house was only my grandmother and my aunt. And I go down to the basement, get her whatever. You know, on the shelves, all I see is canned foods, canned juice, or just rice.
Peachy Prepper.
Right? And so I said to my grandmother, why do you have so much food? There's only two of you. I was 15, 14, 15 years old, you know. I'm like, why do you have so much food? There's only 2 of you. And my dad would be like, well, she lived through the depression, so she's making sure it doesn't happen again. You know, so this was back in the 80s. So we were talking about a month or so ago, and I said to my dad, I go, so your mother was a prepper, so you know, don't make fun of them, you know, because we were talking about prepping and stuff. He goes, oh, I says, Dad, think about it. He goes, no, I know, I guess it was, and he really didn't think about it back then as being a prepper. You just making, but you were, you know, you were prepared for that not to happen again.
That was a way of life,
You know?
right? Through a mindset,
Yeah.
through a way of life through mindset, you know, or an
Yeah.
understanding of survival, certainly. And even if the fact is that we did the same thing when I was young, and my dad got kicked by a cow, and you know, it hurt him for half the year, you know, the major growing season and so on and everything else. And so we had to depend on friendly neighbors and so on. My mom had to pull double time. I had to pull double time, certainly. My sisters had to pull double time, you know, but we had prep set aside, certainly. And this is why I've grown up with the idea of a mindset, you know, combined with knowledge, planning, and preparedness or resources is your ultimate best bet. You know, you can't do it any other way, as far as I'm concerned, and still declare yourself as responsible. Um, and again, this is not a knock to anybody out there, but you know, if you're listening to this show, then you want to know something, or you want to be in the discussion, or whatever. This is the beauty of these types of shows, because I might not consider something, you know, and you know, Mike's gonna say something tonight that's gonna make me go, shit, that's, you know what, because I certainly don't have all the answers. Or TR's gonna say something, or Will's gonna say something, you know, Fat Man's gonna say something. I'm gonna be like, you know, I'm consistently making notes through these shows. So I hear you.
I can tell you this. I learned a lot of stuff about history just through metal detecting. And anybody who metal detects will tell you, you know, the best places to metal detect are wooded areas, because that's where usually the old foundations were. Now, when I look at old pictures of the places I'm you know, researching, there's no woods there. It's all the wood's gone, because they're utilizing every bit of their land for, you know, farming and you know, creating a homestead. They had, you know, cold cellars for their canned goods, because there were no Kroger's or shops where they could, you know, they might go to the local hardware store and get a bag of flour, you know, something like that, or sugar. But everything else, you know, they if they wanted to survive, they grew it or raised it, and that was how it was. And you know, you learn about, when you see these pictures, you go, wow, you know, now there's a bunch of woods here. And you look at what's going on now, barely anybody gardens anymore. It's too inconvenient, you know?
Too much of a rush.
It's just too much of a rush. You know, they're working too many hours. They can't maintain it, you know?
Yep.
There's something on, you know, the computer, or there's something, you know, on TV, you know?
Well,
yeah,
they can't.
That's the thing. Just it's all really who you know, because I know a lot of people, and just about every single one of them have some type of garden in their summer. Some, yeah. If it's not a full garden with corn and beans and potatoes and carrots and peas and lettuce and all that, and radishes and green peppers, and you know, I could go on and on and on, stuff that, you know, everyone grows. But some people are just, hey, let's plant, you know, 5 or 6 tomato plants next to the house, and let's put, you know, every other plant's a tomato plant or a green pepper plant, and you know, just a couple of things around in the flower garden behind the house. You don't have to till up a big garden, but a lot of people are doing that too. Or I've seen a lot of, in my area, I've seen a lot of those what are they called, the topsy-turvies or whatever, the tomato plants that just hang upside down off the front porch or whatever. You know, it's almost like a decoration, and it's got, you know, a food source right there. So that's not a bad idea either.
As far as
another thing I've noticed with, another thing I noticed with the older generation, you know, is right now we're disposable. Everything we have is disposable. You know, if it breaks, we throw it away. You know, I've just recently got to the point where if something breaks, I call the company, and that company has been replacing stuff for me. You know, before it would just, if it would break, damn, I'd throw it away and go buy another one if I wanted another one. You know, and with the older generation, I've noticed they don't throw nothing away, because when they grew up, they didn't have anything. So they get something, they hold on to that shit. They don't throw nothing away.
Right.
My step grandmother, she has National Geographic stacked up in her living room from freaking 1940s and 1950s and 1960s, and they're so decrepit you can't even flip through the pages without them falling apart. But I'll be damned if she gets rid of them because they're hers.
Yeah. Well, just look at it. It's like back in the day, right? When they either they did it themselves, TR, or they went to the tailor and had the tailor do it, or if they had a hole in their shoe, they didn't have the money to go buy a new pair. They took it to the shoe repair guy, and stuff like that. You don't even see those shops around anymore. I haven't. I haven't seen a tailor shop, and I can't tell you how long. And I don't call it dry cleaners a tailor shop either. But I haven't seen a shoe repair shop, any screen repair shops. We used to have those screen and window repair shops. They don't even have them around anymore.
Well, same as a refrigerator. They didn't have refrigerators. They had cold cellars. That's what they had. Right. They dug down and they made cellars. The difference that the refrigerator.
Another one would be TV repairman. There's a job that went away.
There you go.
And so where is that going to put us, right? I mean, you think about everything you guys just mentioned. Where does that put us in a state of a collapse or a major shift, scenario? Who's going to be value? We're talking about preps. We're talking about gold or silver or, a commodity you can barter with. And this is something that even I think Matt had brought up on a show that he was doing, and this is what gets forgotten about, is your knowledge, your skills that you bring to the table. That's also a bartering item.
Yep.
So gather that knowledge.
The skills that'll be, I'm sorry, Lou. The skills that'll be worth something will be your basic, getting back into some old school stuff. It'll be blacksmith, a mechanic to a certain degree, and I work on equipment for a living, and worked on cars for a living for a while, and cars today and equipment nowadays, it's disposable. This part goes bad, you replace it. There ain't no fixing it. So even the mechanic's going to have a hard time. You're going to have to be a master rigger. That would be a valuable skill. Yeah. But I did want to go back to, we kind of anyway, on the garden thing, as far as we was talking about Peachy putting back stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't have a green thumb, but I've been having a garden every year for the past 3 or 4 years. I've had one good garden. In the last couple of years, it's either we got swamped with rain,
right,
just some kind of weather, and I don't have a good spot. I don't have a lot of sunshine, but I understand that it makes sense to you over can. If you can goods, can way more than you need for the next year. Can enough, you should have enough to last several years, because the next 2 years you may not be able to can anything. But I just wanted to say that in case, just a little info, just my personal experience. I keep trying to have a garden of canned stuff, and I hadn't done it but one time. And even that time, at the end of the year, before I was able to harvest everything, we had a hailstorm, and it just wiped my whole fucking garden out.
We don't have to reinvent the wheel here. I mean, you can go buy canned goods. So, unless you got land and stuff, that scenario doesn't help me at all. Canning. I don't have a garden, so I can buy canned food though. That's good until 2020.
You can still can. You don't need to have a garden.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah,
you can buy.
Yeah.
You can buy it.
If I find stuff on sale, like a good deal on apples, yeah, I'll buy extra apples and dehydrate them and stuff.
How long's that last?
Depends on how crispy you make them. If you really suck them dry, you can get a while out of them. I take them and vacuum seal them, and they'll last a year anyway.
I was going to say vacuum sealing them is what really saves them for a while.
Yep.
Yeah. A lot of times my mom will go to the farmer's market and buy buy stuff and come back and can it. Blueberries and
Yeah.
peaches and stuff like that. She'll get fresh peaches and then she'll just freeze them, you know? Put a little bit of sugar and water in the bag of cut up peaches and freeze them and then pull them out and heat them up and make
Yep.
a cobbler out of them in the wintertime.
Yeah, but you're stuck in that 1 year scenario though. We're talking about the shit hitting the fan, so you don't want to be in a 1 year things expiring in 1 year. I don't think.
Well, canning will get you along farther. I mean, we can apples and stuff into and make pie filling and stuff out of them. So when apples are in season and you get a good deal on them, just can up some apples. We can them into quart jars and they'll keep for a couple of years, 2-3 years.
Yeah. I'd rather take my chances eating some 3-year-old canned food than eating some worms from the ground.
Damn
True
right.
story.
Right.
Back on your point of saving stuff, I work with a guy who lived in South Vietnam and fought for the South in the Revolution, and that guy has never thrown anything away in his life because he lived under communism and he had to escape to America and stuff. He came as a refugee, but he's a citizen now. I'm telling you what, guys, he is probably the best American on the planet. He bleeds red, white, and blue. He's a great guy. And it's because he's lived the other life, you know. He's lived in poverty. He's lived under communism, fearing for his life. And now he knows here. And he saves our company so much money just by the stuff he saves, you know.
Yeah, it's amazing. You can learn another culture.
Another little tidbit I tell people when I talk about prepping to them and how I've hooked a few people into at least thinking about it, you know, on a different, you know, maybe not shit hit the fan, but on a different, you know, reason is to save money.
Yeah.
Because with inflation rates going up every year, even the stuff you bought 2 or 3 years ago costs a lot more now. And so if you're buying even canned goods, pasta, whatever, if you can buy it today, find it on sale, and buy a bunch of it, and then go back to the store 6 months from now, you'll see an increase in price. And so when you eventually do eat it, you save money. If you don't do it for anything else, like I said, the hard depression, it might not be that food's not available. You may not be able to afford it. You know, so buy it now, and then you could have it later on. Just throwing out some, you know.
Yep. Well, that's true.
I mean, I look at what my grandparents did, and when I bought my farm, which was my grandparents' farm, there was so much canned stuff in the basement still that it would have made your head spin. But, you know, that's what Grandma did. She canned, and Grandpa learned how to fix everything under the sun.
Yep, with his Craftsman wrench, right?
That's right.
Now even that's Chinese made, isn't it?
I don't know. I don't buy Craftsman anymore.
They're still on their, what do you call it? You know, when you break a tool, you can go get another one.
Yeah, the Sears guarantee with Craftsman
Guarantee,
stuff.
whatever it is. Yeah, they still honor that. So.
Yeah,
That's
hand
good.
Hand tools, yeah. Power tools, I don't.
Yeah, I don't think power tools is the same. It's like hammers and screwdrivers, pliers, wrenches, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool.
Yeah, Snap-on will do it for everything. Those guys are awesome.
They sure will.
What are we gonna do with no internet, man?
We're gonna go back to writing letters. Hey, we're gonna go back to writing letters.
You guys will all be my pen pals.
Yeah.
I'll send you some marbles, Will.
Yeah.
That's all these modern conveniences we have now. I mean, just imagine, we wouldn't have any idea what to do, you know?
Ham radio.
For enjoyment or anything.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can.
Ham radio.
Yep, you got it, T.R.
That's a good idea. Wonder how much those gadgets cost.
That's that
What kind you want?
You get one for $35 off of eBay.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They actually sell a really nice portable one for like $100 at a store near me.
Depends on.
Ham radios or CB radios?
I think it says ham on it. I don't know.
Huh.
I'll have to
What
look
is
it up.
ham? Is it ham runs off VHF, right?
Both.
Both.
VHF, UHF. I think
I
UHF.
have one that was a Quan Sing, basically the same as a Bofang or whatever. Same.
Here, all the TVs here went digital. I mean, if your TV, if the cable goes out, nobody's gonna even have TV because you can't get antenna service anymore.
That's why I say ham radio. That would be the only thing. I mean, if y'all want to get, I mean, if you're seriously preparing and want to stay in touch, not necessarily transmit, but at least hear, you can buy a full-blown ham radio on eBay for $150. More than likely, it won't transmit, but you would be able to hear traffic.
Yeah, that's what the one by my house is, I'm pretty sure. I don't think you can talk into it.
Yeah, when I say that, because that's what happens when they usually go bad. What happens is it quits transmitting. That part of it will go bad, but the receiving part will still work.
Why wouldn't you just buy one that works?
Well, it depends on how much money you want to spend. I mean, if you want to spend a couple $1,000s, you can buy the really nice one.
I thought you meant like maybe $200 you get one that works or something.
You figure on $400 or $500 to get a guaranteed working unit.
Somebody said $30. Now you guys are up.
Here you go. Here's one for 27. Will, look in the
27, 31, 25.
Well, it depends on what kind you want to get. The little handheld one, that's more of a local thing. I mean, depends on line of sight where you live. From 1 mile to 50 miles, you might be able. They work. I got 3 handhelds. Don't get me wrong. I believe in them. But a full-blown ham radio, like if you could talk to Europe, that's where you're talking more money. I got a 70s model full-blown ham radio, and I paid like $450 for it.
That's pretty good. The one I just posted in the internal is a 2-way, but it's local and it's only $125.
Yeah,
I think locally wouldn't really help me because Alpena is not the hubcap of the world. That's for sure. You would want something where you can keep an ear out on these big cities. What's going on there?
That's why I was saying you can pick up good old units that were made in the 70s and stuff that, they'll say, hey, I turned it on and I picked up radio stations and blah, blah, blah. That's code for this damn thing don't transmit, but it will. You can listen. And that would be some very good information. At least you could, pick up what's going on. It would be the news. If communications went down, that would be the news because the ham radio operators would be blowing them damn things up.
I've got a good friend of mine that's a ham radio operator, and he's got several radios. He's been doing it for decades, And the town I live in is where E.F. Johnson was based out of. So there's so many ham operators around Waseca that it'd make you kind of nuts. But he's got 4 or 5 different units that he uses, and they're all of them are different. I mean, they'll transmit differently, and I don't know enough about it to be knowledgeable on it. But he's got a ton of them.
I mean, how far realistically can a good one can you hear it? Can I hear New York or Michigan or are they more local than that?
Ham?
Handheld?
Yeah.
Handheld, you're not going to hear very far. They
have
have
handheld. You probably got about 100-mile radius.
That's if a repeater's working.
I mean, a good one.
Now
you get a good one.
Now the one I had was programmable, and you could program in. It was almost like a scanner. You could program in and listen to and talk back to police and fire channels. So all you need is their codes. And if you get a list of codes from Radio Shack, used to put out a book that had their their broadcasting code and their receiving code, because each each frequency you need 2 codes, one to broadcast on and one to receive on. That's how it works with like the police and fire and stuff like that, and EMS. And you put those codes in, and you could talk to, if you need to. I still have all those codes from where I was on, the fire department and everything like that. I still have my old radio that I carried. It's a programmable, just like the ones we were looking at, but it's a Kenwood. It's a little bit better brand. And, in emergency situations, I can turn that on and listen to what's going on. You get that first broadcast alert or whatever that the first responders are getting.
Well, and I think even just having a CB radio is going to get you somewhere.
Oh yeah, or a scanner, so you can listen to what's going on.
Yeah,
that's what I was just going to say. Ohio. I remember my grandfather had scanners. He had never had a portable one. He always had one either at his cottage or at the house. And God, he'd listen to that thing for hours on end.
My dad did too.
Mine used to stay on 24/7. Used to drive my wife nuts. She's like, "How can you watch TV and listen to that?" I'm like, I tone it out until I hear something that grabs my attention.
That's my dad's house, man. They got that thing. I'm watching a movie with them, and all of a sudden you hear the fire thing, brr, brr, brr. And then you can't even tell what they're saying. You don't understand it. It's like they're speaking Japanese or something.
You learn once you start listening to it. You'll learn.
It just seems like they're so nosy, man.
Yeah, it is. I still listen to scanners a lot, all the time. And you get to the point that you learn codes. It's like, when they're like, 947, 63, 45, we got 33 in progress. You're like, oh man, there's a robbery and the guy's got a gun. And they're like, the hell do you know that?
I wonder if one of those old military radios, the kind I use in the Army, if anybody uses those at all.
Very
the
few.
Big green that you wear on your back radio.
Well,
Very
you just
few.
need to dump a few grand and get you a satellite phone.
Satellite.
Like the Navy SEALs and shit use now, where you just.
I don't have a couple grand.
Oh, yes, you do.
I think a CB is a good idea, and there's a handheld like we've been talking about. I think they're good to get. This was a Wouchon. It's about $130, but the little Bofengs, this is one of the newer models. They're about $35.
Yeah, I still got my
just local.
CB.
But I think a CB, if shit hit the fan, a CB will be used more than people realize.
I think so too.
Your loved one.
People dig them out, yeah. There's a lot of people still have old CB sitting in their garage on a shelf someplace,
Yeah, I'll tell you what, really, these are cheap as hell.
Welcome back, Frank.
Hey.
How's your wife?
She's doing well. These are cheap as hell. They're, those little radios that you can crank. They're real cheap.
Oh, like a weather? Is it a weather radio too?
Like the little weather, AM, FM radio kind of thing. They're cheap as hell, but if something were to happen, you could at least receive something,
I just watched a video on those things.
They're nice.
Yeah, you could get the emergency broadcasts. I mean, as long as the systems are up.
Yeah.
Right.
A lot of that stuff is automated anyway, especially like weather band. A lot of that's automated.
It's a robot.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? We might be in a situation with no electricity, so.
Right.
Well, that thing has a crank on it. I have the same one, almost. I think mine's a different color.
Who was doing it? Oh, Chuck was doing it.
Yeah, but the broadcasting, the source that you would be listening to, if they don't have power, I'm not sure what would happen then.
You have to get one of them things like Crocodile Dundee had. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Start beating on the drums again.
Thanks, Blue. Blue, nothing's gonna make me pronounce my brother.
Yeah, a buddy of mine turned me on to a great idea with you know, if you want a really cheap way for light and recharging batteries, if you get those, you know, cheap Walmart landscaping, they're like $1.98 or whatever lights.
Yep.
You know, you can buy 20 of those for $40, and they have AAA batteries in them. You know,
AAA batteries and the solar cells to
And the
charge
solar
them.
cell, right.
Exactly.
Did you guys see the video that Chuck put out the other day about the flashlights, the pump flashlights?
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
Like a
The
dog.
LEDs. Dude, I know somebody. I don't have one personally, but I know a guy's got a couple of them. He says, "I've had them for over a year. I'm waiting for them to break."
Hey,
Yeah,
you
they're-
know, another little life hack is, you know, the 12-volt batteries, like the square battery that you put in like a lantern or whatever.
Those
One
6
of them
volts.
6-volt, yeah. You pop one
Yeah.
of those open with a pair of pliers or whatever, and there's like 30 AA batteries in that son of a bitch.
Well,
They're full of AA's. They're just stacked up. That's how those operate.
With the old like D-Walt batteries, you can talk to them. They got a bunch of C batteries in them. D-Walt XHP, the old stuff.
The going back to the like the NOAA and stuff like that, emergency broadcasts and stuff. I don't think I'm telling anybody here anything they don't know, but who puts out the emergency broadcasts?
the FCC.
And even if it is putting out, they'll have generators. That's the government.
The FCC, right?
Yeah. So what information you're getting from them, if that's the only information you're getting, is that the information you really want? Is there the some bitches that caused the problems we're in at this point when the shit hit the fan?
Right.
Attention, all survivors, please move to the nearest high school facility.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Look,
We have food and water.
In like cattle. Yeah, we have food and water. We're from the government. We're here to help.
Right.
Yeah, and remember years ago they used to have, I don't know if they still have them out where you guys are, but I know here in Mass, there's a couple of churches, a couple of old buildings that they have for fallout shelters.
Well, that was when civil defense was a big thing.
But we still have them. We still have them here. There's still fallout shelters around.
Yeah, the old schools and stuff had them.
Yep.
Like I mentioned on another chat, we were in the basement or in the tunnel system. Most schools have tunnels under them for running electrical and stuff.
Yep.
And we were putting in an fire alarm system, and we're down in the tunnels, and we found a section. There was like 55-gallon drums in there full of water that they just never took out after all that.
I hate to beat on a dead horse here, but if somebody does want to get into communications cheap, I still suggest a CB. A CB is a ham radio. A full-blown ham radio is 10 to 160 meters. A CB is 11 meters. It will bounce off the atmosphere. You can reach states away. I've heard of people talking from Virginia to Florida, Virginia to Texas. Now, of course, they had amps and stuff like that, but you can reach a lot further with a CB than you can one of them little handheld.
I'm looking at an old DX949 Galaxy CB, and this damn thing, we have it here, and we can talk to our truckers. And we don't use it. We don't use it that much anymore. But just on your, channel 19 or whatever, I can hear truckers all the way in Michigan and Indiana and West Virginia.
I didn't know that. I thought CBs were only good for like 30 miles, 50 miles.
Generally, they're only good for a couple miles, but
yeah, that's what I mean. Because
But you can tell them guys that have them amplified because they echo really bad.
Yeah.
They come across your radio loud as hell. They're like, this is the hook. You're like, where the hell's he coming from?
It sounds like
if you look around on the internet, you'll find some companies are, they're kind of like individuals that tune radios. It's kind of a hobby business for them, and you can get just like a CB for your vehicle that's been tuned. It'll put out 40 watts, 50 watts, 100 watts, and that'll go a long ways if somebody does it right and tunes it right. And it's just the unit itself. It's not even the external amp. They can push them that far. And in a shit hit the fan scenario, all you gotta do is hook it to a 12-volt battery, throw an antenna up high around your house. Even if you're not talking, you can at least listen. You may pick up something.
Yeah, you can usually receive more than you can send.
Ooh.
Well, the TR, if you watch any of the Stealth Diggers episodes, they have like a little shack, like a little camp called the Stealth Shack, and they have CVs in there. That's what they're running.
Well, off topic, but I am gonna say this. We're doing this on Ohio's channel because I can't stay, and so I can't stay. So my curfew is up. I'll catch you guys all later.
See you later, Mike.
I just want to say,
have a good night, Mike.
I'd like to say thanks for Matt to coming in, and Shim, I know you were having a problem with hearing and stuff. I'm sorry to hear that. But anyways, thanks for coming anyway. And everybody out in the chat room, take it easy. Enjoy your weekends if I don't see you or talk to you.
Later, Mike.
Later.
Yeah,
Take care, Mike.
Thanks, everybody. Be well.
And with that being said, I'm going to just go back and shout out a few more people here. It's been a while since we went to Mr. X-Man Rules, Red Bean 58, Bird Dog 1227. Let's see, Dr. Dave, Mr. D. Sardi is out there. What's up, brother? Detecting 207, Knucklemac 33. Is it Renaman Junior 123? I don't know if I'm probably butchering it. Lost and Found Metal Detecting, Flint and Steel, Mouse Toes, the Fat Man, Joe's Quantum Heart School. Anybody else? Resist the Tyranny. Blue 823. You're my boy, Blue. AU Rebel. The Token. Somebody with a loud mic. Digging Freedom. And I think that's about it. Kind of going through. I'm scrolled up pretty far, so. But hey, thanks for joining us. Like I said, it's on my channel because Mike has a curfew. He's got a big day tomorrow. I'm not gonna throw
You
his
never
personal
shared
business
what
out
the
there,
big
but
day was.
well, I don't want to put out his personal business, so I mean, it's just it's a good thing. It's a family. He's having a family day tomorrow, so good for him.
You got stuff to do. Just leave it at that.
You got stuff to do, man. No.
When you got shit to do, you got shit to do, and that's all there is to it.
All right, fine. Twist my arm. He's having a hysterectomy.
Well, it is about time.
Well, he's already had I don't know what he's been castrated already because we already heard that she's got him in a jar up on the shelf somewhere.
Yeah.
At least she leaves him at home.
He's been having some menstrual issues, so they're going to go ahead and take his ovaries out. He's still watching, right? Probably.
Probably. Which makes it even better.
Hell, if we didn't think he was watching, we wouldn't be bragging on him. It wouldn't be no fun.
Exactly. Yeah,
But at least his wife keeps him in a jar at home. Mine carries him around like a trophy.
In her purse, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine does that too.
My thing is, TR, I'm going to go beat that dead horse again. Yeah, a CB is a great idea, man. I have one, but I don't have it hooked up to anything. So I'd actually like to get one of the handheld ones. Have you seen those that come in like the case and everything? Like I think Cobra makes them. You can't keep it in the trunk of your car until you actually need it or whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I learned about the CBs when I got into ham radio, and I do have my technician license, so I did a lot of studying on it and stuff. And like I said, I mean, a CB is a actual ham radio. It's just a certain band the government decided that, or okay, we'll give CB means Citizens Band, and they opened it up for a more public forum to use without being full blown ham.
Yeah,
whatever.
without all the regulations.
Yeah, yeah, and but it is a full-blown AM radio that you can bounce signals off the atmosphere if the conditions are right. It's just like a ham radio. It depends on the sunspots and the sun activity and all that, what it does to our magnetic field on how good you can bounce that signal off. If you catch conditions right, I can talk to somebody in England on my ham radio.
It's like AM radio back in the 50s and stuff, People thought that Wolfman Jack was broadcasting from an airplane or something because he could pick him up all over the place, because they didn't realize that the way AM bounces off stuff, FM's like just straight out signal, but AM signals bounce off and they carry a lot further. I mean, you can pick up, on a good clear night, you can pick up AM stations out of Detroit and that down here in Columbus, or pick up something from good 200-300 miles away on a good night.
My grandparents had one of those shortwave radios, the big standing ones, and it had on the dial, Germany, Austria, England, wherever you put that dial, that's where you could pick up signals from those countries. Those things were pretty cool.
You do help, man. Yeah, you taught me more than anybody else there, Colonel.
Well, I appreciate that. That makes me feel good, man. What I do on YouTube, I'm hoping I help somebody get some little tidbit or info. I'm no expert on everything, but when I learn something, I try to pass it on. And that's how I learned it. Somebody passed it on to me.
Mm-hmm.
I want to, she's not in here. She's not in the chat or anything. I don't even think she knows that we do chats or anything, but just want to throw out a channel that I came across the other day, and she's putting out some great videos. And it's Armed Rogue. Is anybody else subbed to Armed Rogue?
Yep, I am.
Yeah.
She
Awesome
was
channel,
in a chat, I want to say a week ago, but it was only for about a second. So she knows they exist.
Put her link up.
Yeah, I will do that.
Yeah, send her a link. See if she's out. I think she's out of Texas, but the last video I seen was her and another girl shooting bow and arrows at some water balloons in slow motion to celebrate 200 subs. That was pretty cool. Of course, I just got on a slow motion kick myself with my last video. I did the slow motion dual wielding pistols. That was not that very fun to go back and watch it and see my fat jiggle all the way up my arm from the recoil. And see how bad my left wrist snaps every time I shoot it. Like, no wonder I can't hit anything. Somebody asked me, like, did you hit anything? I'm like, yeah, I hit the ground all around the target that I was aiming at. I'm not a real good dual-wielding pistol type guy. I won't be in a John Woo movie anytime soon.
Doesn't mean you can't try.
Right. I guess it's something I just need. You know what I need? I need ammo. If people would send me ammo, I would do more dual-wielding videos. I need practice. What the hell?
Trying to make love to a cat.
Well, what are you doing with that cat, man?
I think he's trying to say that's all he ever gets. Hey, if you do the dueling pistols, The trick is that I hadn't done that yet. Just don't show the targets.
Oh, I didn't show the target. I did a close up
Just
of
get them out and
my
just start
arms.
blasting. And, oh yeah, I tore it up.
Yeah, he did the profile. Yeah.
Yeah, I did the side view, and yeah, the first shot you can see the shock wave go through my fat in my arm all the way up to underneath my tricep area where it's all jiggly like Jello. Didn't realize I was that jiggly in the arm section until I seen that video. I was like, man, and it was after I uploaded it too. You know, it wasn't like I watched it and it was like, oh, I better not upload that. It makes me look bad. Of course, I don't give a shit. You know me. You know, I'm a big fat guy. I don't care.
What a drag it is getting old, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I do some videos you see my face and stuff. People know what I look like, but a lot of videos I don't throw my face out on there because that's just a general. I'm doing a service to the YouTube viewing public by not letting them see my ugly mug every video.
And we thank you, sir.
Well, before I jumped in here, you guys had like 36 viewers or something. I'm like, that's the ticket. I just can't show up.
What did you do? What did you do? Kill my chat?
I always do. I'm just kidding.
We're at 32, man. That ain't bad. I mean, 32 people out there watching. I mean, we start off with a topic like we always do, but then we kind of go off course. But
way out. It was a good chat, man. It was good topics. Some good information.
Well, it ain't over yet, Frank. Frank, it ain't over yet.
I know that. You're kind of segueing into. Once it sounded like you wanted to go to private chat. Yeah, well.
Oh no. As long as we got people out there, we'll keep going until they start dropping off and get a little bored with us. That's okay though. I mean, is there any other topics anybody wants to talk about?
Yeah, I want to know. Like another fella asked a minute ago, what does TR whisper to his chickens? I can't remember who asked that, but that was a damn good question.
I think it's something like, if you squeal, I'll wring your neck.
Oh, that was awesome.
Yeah, I put that in there a couple of chats ago, and I just hadn't changed it yet. I just thought it was funny.
That's funny.
Because the chickens will let me pick them up, and I was like, well, I'm a chicken whisperer, I guess.
Yeah.
Chicken whisperer.
You need to do a little spoof on that or something, and act like you're trying to help a chicken out.
Mom won't never let you pick them up ever. Don't matter what happens.
I think I seen a picture. I don't know what it was on Facebook or Google or whatever. TR. I think it was a picture of you, and it's like me with my cock in my hand or something like that. Did you post? You were holding the chicken.
Well, in one of the latest, not the latest, but one I done here in the last couple of weeks, at the end of the video I done, there's a couple of pictures of me where I'm holding the chicken, and I got my cell phone. I'm doing a selfie with the chicken in my arms.
Yeah.
But I did text it. I don't know. You might have got in a chat or something in Dish or something. I text that picture to Dish, and where I had the chicken in my hand, and I text a picture to her, and then I come back with, that's me with my cock in my hand.
Maybe that's what it was. It was in a chat, and she showed it. She pulled it up on the screen and showed it. Maybe that's what it was.
Yeah, she talked.
I knew I seen the picture of you holding your cock. So
I thought she'd get a kick out of it.
I've had them.
Hey, Mom Slayer. I want to say hi to Mom Slayer. She said, cool icon, Ohio, and thank you, and thank Flint and Steel Survival. He's the one that did my icon for me. He worked really hard one night.
So hard. I had a cool one going, and then you just threw it in the garbage, man.
Well, I like the basic stuff here. You know, when you get something in your head, and someone
That's
shows
all
you
you
something.
can think about.
Exactly. I think that's what it was.
That's all right, man. I'm glad you got what you wanted.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. I like it. I've got a lot of compliments on a lot of people like it, because it just goes back to that Red Dawn reference, and that's all it is.
I very much enjoyed that movie anyway. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
Well,
classic.
usually I usually get people sending me stuff with like the comic book Wolverine. Like, here you go, man. Here's an icon for you. And it's like, really, I really don't get into the comic book Wolverine.
That's
that's
not
what your channel
that's not
is
what it's about.
The real animals, that's more fascinating.
Hell yeah.
You don't really have adamantium bones? What the hell? I've been gypped.
Right. Yeah.
I'm surprised. Well, now
If
they're young.
If I don't cut my hair for a few weeks, I get that damn. When I wake up in the morning, I got the same haircut as that Wolverine guy with sticking up on the sides.
Yeah, the movies. I like I said, I think if people are a little bit young, maybe they miss that entirely. I can see that happening. In the prepping, bushcraft, gun people, Wolverine is like bam, ding, 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 ding. We know exactly what that is. And around from where I'm at, the high school I went to, we were devil dogs, so we'd be painting devil dogs on the shit.
Knuckle Mac says, I gotta watch that movie. Never really seen it. Holy shnikes, you've never seen Red Dawn. Make sure you watch the original from like 1984. Don't watch this new one. Yeah. The new one don't even exist, guys. Just pretend it doesn't exist.
Yeah, that new one sucks.
Yeah.
It should never been called Red Dawn. I'll tell you what, they could have probably used that same and just changed the names.
Fuchsia Dawn.
and no, just change the names of the characters. Don't call them, Jeb and all that, and Maddie and everything. And just called it Homefront. Remember the video game Homefront?
That is such a good game. I played that through 6 times.
If they would just called that damn movie Homefront and based it on the video game, it would have probably been a hit.
Now that you mention that, it is almost exactly the same. Even the country they're using.
Yeah.
Never connected that puzzle piece.
Yeah.
I really don't see that happening, but it's still a good movie. I mean, even now, it's just hard to imagine another country invading America.
Yeah.
It used to be hard, but I'm thinking it's not as hard to imagine it nowadays. I mean,
Well, it depends if
with talk of how weak our borders are and everything like that. I mean,
well, it's not.
Look how close Russia comes to us all the time. We got China coming up. We got China bringing a submarine all the way up on the coast of California. We got Russian planes flying just outside of Washington and Oregon.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mean to get serious or anything, but I can see them wanting to collapse us and kill us as far as a world power, but trying to occupy the soil and keep it. But then again, I mean, the people are so dumbed down that they might think they could get away with at least taking part of it, maybe not the whole country, but like you say, like move up, take up Texas, or come down to the northern states, northern Midwest, or something like that. Yeah, maybe part of it.
I'll straight give them California for free.
Yeah, we can give them California. That'd be all right.
Yeah, well, that's probably where they would come in. They would probably want to take over Washington, Oregon, California, Utah, places like that, and then work their way east, because you don't want to hit Arizona, Nevada, and Texas and all that yet. I mean, that's probably where they'd find their biggest resistance from, say, Red Dawn or something like that.
I don't know. Utah's pretty intense. Plus, we got some huge military bases here, man, and some of the aeronautical bomb sites, and we got a bunch of stuff here. They'd find resistance here.
Well, most of those anti-government guys, they all moved to Utah back in the 70s and 80s to live out in the woods, like, you know.
Yeah, but we don't have many of those left.
There's whole communities out there like that, though.
You know, I think though, it's just like when 9/11 hit, man. Look what happened. You know, I think they really underestimate the real belly and the soul of this country. You know, when 9/11 hit, all you saw were American flags everywhere. And, you know, people that, even if they're living in the city, they're going to do whatever they got to do too. So, you know, I don't think it'd be that easy of a task.
What coin were you showing off, Chad?
I don't even really know what it is.
It looks cool.
Showing it to somebody who asked.
Jerry will probably tell you what it is, Chad.
Todd Mitch was asking him. 1920. I don't know what it is. 1921 silver dollar. I know that.
And then Scott Redbeam was telling you that the knife, whatever he's talking about, is a shell puller, not a bayonet. Do you know what he's talking about?
Yep. Yes, I do.
I've always liked that style of knife.
Yeah. I just like all the military stuff is cool.
Yeah.
Like I say, I haven't got into them like, you know, most people. I don't know what they are. It's got the woman's head on it. Morgan.
Yeah, it's called a Morgan.
Okay.
I got a whole bag of coins from Jerry yesterday I unboxed, and I don't know what any of them but one is, really. My whole video was me just saying, and this one looks pretty cool, and I kind of like this one.
You know, it's funny though when you start hanging out with, you know, I'm learning about knives with Chad. I'm learning about leathercraft with Tolly, and you know, bushcrafting stuff with TR. You're learning about coins and metal detect. You know what I mean? It's pretty cool how it all blends together, man.
Yeah.
It's real hard to do, like just, you know, in the hood. It really is, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody around me knows the same shit, and that's it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's because y'all grew up the same, you know.
Yeah.
And you get to talking to someone from Minnesota where, you know, we experience our climate. Just our climate alone is totally different here.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you guys don't experience sub-zero weather and stuff on a regular basis in the wintertime.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, we're still trying to figure out why y'all live up there.
It's God's country, brother, God's country.
Me and T.R. live in a place that's, I think about it all the time. It's damn near perfect.
You know,
it's the weather as far as the flood zone, as far as we're not too far from the mountains, we're not too far from the beach. There's tornadoes and dust. No, you know, that shit just don't happen. All we got to worry about is like ice and shit, and that's about it.
Yeah. See, that's regular. That's normal stuff here.
Yeah, it's a nice little part of the country, I got to say.
Yeah.
It is in this general area, not necessarily just South Carolina, but in western North Carolina, the upper part of South Carolina, the northern, eastern part of Georgia, Tennessee, this area is why preppers flock to it. This is like the prepper headquarters of the United States. And I ain't saying they're not everywhere. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying there's a lot of people. I get contacted. I've met a few people that are looking to move down here. And you got, you know, Southern Prepper 1, Engineer 775. They live just right up the road. They flock to this area because it is it's not maybe not the perfect geographical area, but it's a good geographical area. You know, it's isolated enough, but not too much. And like Chad was saying, I mean, we don't have the extreme weather, you know.
Yeah. See, my wife and I have been thinking, you know, kind of contemplating a little bit on moving south, mostly because I got most of my kids have gravitated that way. You know, I got one in Florida, and I I got one in Oklahoma, but her husband's from North Carolina. You know, so we've been kind of thinking about gravitating that way, but just don't know. Don't know what the jobs are like down there or nothing.
Oh, is your six is moving out here from California?
Yeah, but he's in a bad place. He's in a communist state.
I don't know, man. I like Michigan. I've been here all my life, and I just can't imagine living anywhere else. You know, we have some cruddy winters here and there, but for the most part, you know, you have sports all around. You know, there's a season for everything here. You know, if you like snow and that kind of stuff, you know. But man, you know, you can't go 5 miles and not hit a stream or a lake or something. You know.
Oh yeah, exactly.
You know, I love it. I mean,
I want to go fishing. I can walk to the nearest lake.
Yeah, I mean, where I live, there's 30 lakes where I live. You know, we have a chain of lakes, 7 big lakes that are connected by a river system. So, you know, we take our pontoon and we'll go, you know, all day, and we'll just travel down the river to every lake and park at a sandbar and party for a while, go to the next lake, you know. There's pizza shops, you know, along the river where you can, you know, dock and eat, and, you know, it's a good time, man.
Yep. Yeah, we got that here, too. You can go right down the Mississippi is like that.
Yeah. There's nothing like having a grill on your boat, man. I'll tell you that right now.
Oh, yeah, no kidding. Get out the old pontoon, the redneck pontoon. What do they call that?
You got it, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to do some of those fishing videos and stuff. I'm going to do a couple of those this year when I go out.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm doomed to fishing on shore right now, so seems like I show up at a spot and there's like 8 million freaking people there already.
Yeah.
I'm the only one catching anything because I know what baits and stuff to use for what I'm fishing for, but, you know, we get a lot of those people that go out just for a little bit of fishing to get outside and do something. Yeah, right. I'm out there to get me some dinner.
That's what we'll do. We'll fish, and then sometimes, you know, if we fire up the grill, we'll bring breading and everything else, you know. Yeah. And we'll fillet the fish right there and cook it right there on the boat.
Oh yeah.
That's the way to do it.
Man, that's awesome.
Yeah, one of the places I go is a park, and it's on a channel between one of those chain of lakes, and it's right on that channel, and they got the barbecues out there and everything.
Yeah. It's a good time, man. It's just, it really is. It's so damn relaxing. And, you know, my wife and I, we used to camp a lot. And because we work so much now, it's really hard for us to get away and camp. So that's why we got the pontoon, because you can go out on a day trip on the pontoon. It's just like camping, you know?
Yeah.
Just like a little mini vacation. And we have a cover that's like a tent cover for the pontoon. So we can just anchor and sleep on the boat for the night if we wanted to. It's a good time.
Yeah, I used to have a boat, but, you know, it was a 15-foot tri-hull job. Yeah. It was nice for taking the kids out on because those tri-hulls are pretty stable in the water.
Yep.
So it was always good to take the kids, and yeah, we had a lot of good times on it. But we just don't. Well, now I don't have any place to park a boat unless I rent a storage or something.
Yeah.
But we're kind of looking at houses. I don't know what we're gonna do yet.
Yeah, I can't imagine not having a boat. You know, I didn't think I originally wanted a fishing boat. You know, I was going to buy an Alumacraft 19-footer, you know, so I can take it out on big water and all that.
Yeah.
And my wife was like, you know, that's great and all, but, you know, what do I get to do in the boat, you know, because she likes to lay out, you know. So I kind of thought about it, and I was like, all right. So we ended up getting a 22-footer Sylvan pontoon, and I'll tell you what, man, I love it. I will
Yeah.
always have a pontoon after that. You can just do too much with them. They're great.
Yeah, I'd like to get one.
And you can get them relatively pretty cheap. You really can.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't decided to bite the bullet on that one yet.
Yeah.
Just because of the storage and stuff. I just don't have any place to put it.
Well, that's the thing. You got to either know someone that has some acreage where you can store it, or
Yep.
or you
You know,
yourself have.
Yeah, when I had the farm, I had all kinds of places to put it.
Yeah.
Now I don't have nothing. I got a single-car garage that my wife takes charge of in the wintertime.
Yeah. Well, and see, and that's the other thing. If you're not living on a lake, we're you're not going to trailer a pontoon, a 20-foot pontoon every time you want to take it out.
No. So then you got dock rentals and
Right.
or slip rental.
Yeah.
It gets to be too much.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, but it's more of a family-based kind of thing. I mean, if you're a fisherman, yeah, get a 16-footer or an 18-footer, and you can trailer it all day long.
Yeah.
But if you want to do other stuff with it, pontoon's the way to go, I think.
Yeah. Or a deck boat.
Yeah.
I was looking at a deck boat at one time. Those are pretty badass.
Yeah, they're expensive as hell, though, man.
Yes, they are.
Like
well, this guy
$35,000.
blew the motor in it. It had a Volvo Penta 4-cylinder in it,
Yeah.
and he blew the motor, and he was just trying to get rid of it because it was so expensive to fix that Volvo motor. At least when you got to have somebody else do it. I can rebuild them, so I didn't care.
Right. Yeah, if you can repair it, you could probably flip it for a pretty good penny.
Oh yeah. But alas, I didn't have enough money to buy it.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I'm going to jump off here. I had to work today, so I've been up a long time.
Yeah, me too.
All right, TR.
Enjoyed the chat, man. Thanks for sending me an invite.
See you,
Thanks
TR.
for hopping on with us.
No problem.
Nice having you, TR.
Pleasure as always, TR.
All right, guys. I had a good time. Now, I'll talk to y'all later.
Be well.
All right, take care, brother.
Take care.
Now we have to fill the silence with the hell.
No.
Chad's
So what was the
gone.
original subject of tonight's chat anyway?
Oh, you
No,
missed
I
it. It was
can't
pretty good.
remember.
We started out with Trans-Pacific Partnership, talking about that, and then it kind of went from that to prepping, the economy, and fiat currencies, and
Bill's kind of been around the block a couple of times.
yeah. Actually, it was a really good chat. It really was.
Yeah. Well, from what I've been here on, it was nice.
Yeah.
My son
learned-
called me just as I got on, so I had to talk to him. He texted me he's got a fiance, so I had to find out more about that deal.
Yeah. Well, today is my daughter's prom, so that's what I dealt with before I got on chat.
Yeah.
Had to have the little shotgun talk,
I did that with my shotgun.
Uh-huh. Don't think
Every time the girls would bring over, I had 4 daughters, so this got to be kind of old hat for me. But every time they'd bring a boy over, I was cleaning one gun or another, sitting at the dining room table. They
Hey,
knew.
Frank, were you on Jack's chat on Wednesday?
Tuesday?
Yeah, Tuesday. There you go.
Yeah, I was.
I wasn't
I
on
was
it.
there.
I was at work.
Oh, okay. Then you missed my joke. So remind me to tell you later.
Okay.
It's not really appropriate for all audiences,
Yeah,
but it
let's
has to
save
do
that
with
for the
prom. Hey, Ohio, did Jack ever figure out who shut him down?
No, I have no
Not sure,
idea.
man. Not sure.
Huh.
I mean, it doesn't tell you, but
Yeah.
Did they shut his whole channel down, or just his chat abilities?
his
Kinda.
chat abilities.
They were threatening to, because he put up one chat, then got flagged. They took it down, and then he immediately opened a new one before he got the warning about that one. So he basically got 2 warnings at once.
Got it. Yeah, I was there. I was there for both of them.
Yeah.
I just wasn't 100% sure what all went down.
Yeah, it was interesting.
Yeah.
Somebody flagged him for no reason.
Yeah.
There was no reason. It was just vindictive bullshit.
You know what,
Well-
though? I mean, the thing is, though, I mean, it was titled Dig That Tone. And you got, maybe some people who didn't realize what that chat is. And, let's say their kids are watching it with them because they think they're going to be, learning about, metal detecting or something. And, I mean, it could have been something as simple as that, So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I can't speak for whoever did it, but I know if I got on a chat or whatever, and my kid was around and thinking that it was appropriate, and something was going on, I'd be a little PO'd,
Yeah, and he made the mistake of not making it 18 and up, which I thought was just common sense, but
Yeah.
he didn't. And that can cause problems.
Yeah.
And maybe do a disclaimer. Say, hey, look, this is going to be adult-oriented. This is, we not only talk about metal detecting, but other things that may not be age-appropriate,
Yeah.
I mean, but you learn from those mistakes,
Yep.
You gotta
Sure
hope
do.
anyhow.
So, I don't know.
Has anyone here, other than Ohio, I know you have, been challenged for the feather stick challenge? Making a fire with a feather stick?
Not I, said the fat guy.
Not I, said the flying fella.
I did my response today. I'm just not going to post it till tomorrow because I already posted 2 videos today. But I actually got fire on my first go, so turned out pretty well.
Yeah, I've done it. I mean, that's one of the things I've practiced a bit.
Yeah.
So I've been
I've
pretty
done
lucky.
it before, but it was super rainy all day today. I think it stopped raining for like 15 minutes total, and I ran outside and did it with wet stuff, and it worked.
Now,
Yeah, as
what
long
is
as you
the-
get to the middle of the wood.
Yep, exactly. All that you are allowed to use is a knife, a flint striker, the ferro rods, and a piece of wood to make a fire. So you got to light the feather stick with just those items.
Uh-huh.
So I got fire on my first time. There's been a lot of people that haven't been able to, so I was really nervous. And I got the fire going. I started blowing on it. I basically blew it out.
Isn't there different kinds of ferro rods too, though? I
Yeah,
mean,
there is.
Well,
some-
yeah, there's good
some
ones
are-
and bad ones.
Right. I was watching Mountain Man, his chat, and he sells like custom ferro rods.
Yeah,
made
I've
out of
been trying to
magnesium.
buy one from him.
Yeah, I want to buy one from him because he'll cut them to length and whatever you want. He seems like
Yeah.
good stand-up guy.
Plus, he does the full 1/4 inch thick, big ones. I just
Right.
use my regular Coughlin's, $5 survival crappy
Right.
ferro rod, and it actually worked. What's weird about this one is it gets ridges in it, like it goes all like
Well, mine's got-
washboard.
Yeah, mine did that. You got a bunch of ridges in it.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I'm striking it like any other ferro rod,
I know. Mine did that. I'm just going to take some sandpaper to it or something, I think.
I think that's what he said to do. He was saying if you get like waves in it or whatever, just take some sandpaper or the edge of your knife and just kind of keep shaping it.
Yeah.
He also said, though, a good ferro rod shouldn't do that unless you keep, you strike once and you're supposed to turn it and then strike, so you're not striking the
Yeah.
same place over and over again, and
I'm pretty sure what it is these heat up, and the cheaper the ferro rod, the more heat gets on it, and then it just warps.
Yeah.
And these are about as cheap as they come, so I was not surprised at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they seem to keep working. I've been using mine for quite a while.
Yeah, I had one that I used till it was completely flat and unusable. And then I went and
Yeah.
bought another one, and it's almost about there on one side.
Yeah. I just, I like my Bic lighter.
Yeah. I got
My
a couple
fire
of those
kit
with
video
the
today, I
magnesium
talked
stick.
about that.
I'll tell
Sorry,
you what,
Scott.
someone challenges me to light something with, a bunch of, with a ferro rod. I'll make the funniest video because I'm just going to come out with my Bic lighter and some gasoline, and that's it.
Challenge you, Frank.
Oh, snap.
Yeah, just because I want to see this.
You want to see it?
There's your big lighter.
All righty.
Watch me.
Yeah, look at that. He lit fire. That was a pretty short video.
Too.
Look at that. Frank's on fire running across the yard.
Yeah, look at that. I start all my fires with gas, man. You just don't throw the gas on it and try and light it right away. You got to wait 5 minutes so the fumes, dissipate.
Well, you got to let the gas soak in there a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, you see these goofballs throw gasoline and then all of a sudden, try to light it and, and they ended up exploding themselves, dumbasses.
Yep, you got to wait a couple minutes.
Yeah, you got to wait a little bit. I mean, hell, the last video I did, the ending, that's how I lit the fire. I poured gas on it and poof.
Used to piss my wife off when I did that.
Oh, my wife hates it. She hates it. I don't think that's a good idea.
Hell, I do it all the time.
I'll just look at her and I'll go, hold my beer and watch this.
Yeah, octane. That's the only idea.
Yep.
Who let the gaming channels in? They're trying to fail troll us.
I'm not even paying attention.
It's a free country, apparently.
Yeah.
That's what they say.
I see otherwise. I got a good story for you guys. So Monday of last week, I was in Barnes & Noble shopping for my dad's birthday, and I'm just walking around the store, and there's this weird group of people following me around, right? And I go check out. I go out the door, and there's 3 cop cars from the city we were in there, and they pull me aside. They're like, hey, we need to talk to you real quick. Apparently one of the guys following me around is a bouncer at a bar up in the city, like the major city. And he was telling him that I was the guy that beat him up like a couple months ago and stopped his heart and everything. So I was like just short of getting arrested for it. And I'm like, I've never been to that bar, So they passed my info on to the detective, and she met with me the next day at work. She came to my work and pulled me out of work. And I didn't have the same tattoos. My tattoos are different. I don't have ear gauges, and I don't have a military background. So I failed every test. The only thing the guy said was in common was that I have some red in my beard. Like, my dad's a redhead, so I've got red coming out in my beard. That's all he had. I almost got arrested and shit and spent a night in jail for it.
My beard's red, too, when I don't have gray in it.
Yep.
Hey, I was accused of murder about 2 months ago.
Well,
Damn,
they
that
would
would
probably
suck.
have some evidence against you, man. You kind of look like a murderer.
Yeah, there's no telling. No, couple doors down, my neighbor was shot or whatever. He was murdered in his house, and the police had no lead, so they're just going from house to house asking questions.
Do you have a
Right.
gun? Oh, you must be the murderer.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, look, yeah, I was home. I was on the computer and everything. I was in my garage, but I didn't see anything, but it seems kind of fishy to me, and I just told them what I thought about it, and like, they come back a week later. Well, you're our number one suspect. And I'm like, all right.
At least
Jeez.
somebody's thinking about
Get
me.
out my house.
Yeah, a little bit of backstory on my accusation thing is I'm 6'3" and pretty big fella, you know. So I can see why, but the guy that was accusing me was like 6'5", 330 pounds, like just a huge guy, and he's like, that's the guy that beat me up. And I'm like, that guy must have been a badass and one
He
good-looking guy. Every cop I dealt with, though, was super cool. The detective was awesome. I had no problems. It was for what it was a good time, you know. Everybody I met was just awesome.
Is Luke still with us, or is he just
Sleeping?
Yeah, maybe he.
What? No, I'm still with you.
Oh, there he is.
I
Hasn't
just
said anything for a while.
No, sorry, I just haven't found a thing to kind of step into.
Oh, it's turned into shenanigans now, man. Whatever you want, you just throw it out there. We talk about skinning penguins, or eating maple syrup, or saying
As long
we're
as you
sorry
don't
too
talk
much.
about
Whatever you Canadians do.
We politely listen and say sorry when we find a primary opportunity. Because listen, it's about the most Canadian thing we could ever do is say sorry. Yeah.
Whereabouts are you from in Canada?
I reside on the eastern coast, Maritimes.
Okay.
Yeah. Before that, I was in Ontario for 36 years. So.
All right. So you lived in Ontario?
Yeah. I've lived in Ontario. I've lived in British Columbia. I've lived in Alberta. I've lived in the States. I've lived in a lot of places, man. Yeah.
Yeah, I have relatives in British Columbia and relatives in Ontario as well.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not hard to have relatives in Ontario or Alberta for that matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem industrial location of Canada is Ontario primarily, and of course anything to do with oil is Alberta. So.
Yeah. And I'll tell you guys what, you want to see some slow moving people, go to Canada over in Ontario, because you get in some of those backcountry towns, everyone, it's just nothing but,
Sunday drivers.
It's like Mayberry, everyone's just laid back and, and I'll tell you what, you want to have a farm breakfast, you haven't eaten until you've had a Canadian breakfast, boy, I'll tell you what.
Canadian back bacon, pancakes, and
oh my God,
syrup.
They'll come out with family style breakfast, and you can't eat. I'm telling you, you'll be overwhelmed.
Yeah, it's true. We call them Grand Slam breakfast. They're wicked. Yeah.
Yeah, they'll slam you for sure. That's ain't no joke.
Hell yes. Yeah, it's good stuff. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Nothing wrong with it.
I like food.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
I'll be right back, guys. 1 sec.
Cool.
I've got an interesting ferro rod striker today.
Did you?
Hadn't seen one like it, huh?
I didn't get to watch that video yet.
It's got magnesium bar and a striker and everything all in one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can scrape off little pieces of the magnesium and then light just about damn anything you want to. Got a thermometer on it, a compass, handmade, USA made from North Carolina.
Damn.
Look at that chunk of magnesium's on the end of it.
That is huge.
That's a huge chunk, dude.
And it's easy to scrape off. I mean, you just barely scrape it with this thing right here, and make you a little pile of shavings, and then hit this thing, and it's going.
Yeah.
Yeah. All-weather fire starters out of Raleigh, North Carolina. $35, and they'll send you another rod when you run out for nothing.
Wow.
No shit. That's nice.
$35.
Can't beat that deal.
Shit, no.
No. No, that's all right.
Yep.
It looks like it's got a really nice. Let me click on you. I want to look at that handle. That's nice looking, man.
I don't know what kind of wood it is. The people, the dude who makes them or whatever, he does a lot of cool demonstration videos with this thing. I mean, you can, it's got like varnish or polyurethane on it or whatever. He scrapes the varnish off, and then it's dry wood underneath there. Make a little pile of wood, and then everything all in one. There it is to start it. You ain't even got to find no timber.
Did you do a video with it?
Yeah, but not a demonstration yet.
Okay. Is the guy's link on your video, or where to get it from?
No, but the all you gotta do is his website is all weather fire starters, and that you can find it.
Okay.
He's got a channel on YouTube and whatnot.
Cool. That looks nice, man. That really does.
It really is. I was skeptical, but I watched about 3 or 4 videos and was like, damn.
Yeah.
Yeah. And,
I told you I was jealous.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
I had to. For $35. And I was like, and I asked him, when I ordered it, I said, so you sending me one if this ever runs out? Yeah. All right. Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. It's funny, you start looking at these people that craft their own ferro rods, and you get some pretty elaborate handles on them, and they're almost starting to turn into knives.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Like Mountain Man, he wants to make them out of deer antlers.
Yeah. I like his stuff.
Yeah. I like that guy, man. He's just a real down to earth, nice
Later,
guy.
Blue. Have a good night, Blue.
He's a character, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yep. And I think he said they'll even send you a new ferro rod if you need one of those.
Wow.
Alright.
That's a great deal, though. I mean, you order something like that from a guy like that or whatever, and he'll send you, a brand new rod. That's pretty nice.
Yeah, it is.
You aren't going to get that.
I used that one that came with that Mora bushcraft that Mike sent me. Like Flint said, it's almost like a washboard now. I looked on Amazon for like a replacement one, just to have a replacement. They want $17 just for the ferro rod for the little replacement one.
Wow,
Yeah.
Yeah, I figure I'd go get one at Walmart for $7.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Even if you have to tear a piece of the plastic handle off of it or do whatever you gotta do.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't do a lot of that shit, but I figured this was worth it.
Well, and you never know when you're gonna need something like that.
Yeah, you never know, but still, it's nice looking, I mean, hell, that's.
You just gotta
I like that.
His demos, man. He dunks this son of a bitch, throws it in a bucket of water, brings it right back out, scrapes a little wood off, and boom, it's good to go. He takes a little bit of, I don't know what it is, moss or whatever, sticks, dunks that shit in water, scrapes a little bit of this magnesium on top of that shit, boom.
Yeah.
It don't make a shit. What it is, it's catching on fire.
Yeah, magnesium burns really hot and really fast.
Yeah, we have scrap magnesium just chips at work when we mill out magnesium plates for different stuff. And we have to keep it in a cardboard barrel with the top closed because it will spontaneously combust.
Yeah.
In bar form it won't because there's not enough surface area, but in chip form where there's little scraps, it'll light right up.
Produces its own oxygen, so you can't put the shit out.
No, you can't.
No, you can't.
It'll just have to burn itself out, and that could take hours and hours.
Right.
Hey, Skywarp.
Yo.
Haven't got a chance to watch your video yet. It is on my watch later, though.
Sweet.
Yeah, what's this you're tagging me to do it? I did an everyday carry already.
Oh, you did? I didn't know you did.
Yeah. You haven't been watching my videos.
All called out.
I'm sorry, man. I didn't know.
Yeah, if you're gonna tag somebody, you better be watching their videos.
I need to tag the fat man, but he's already done one.
He's done more than one, problem.
Man, I need to. Nah.
Don't mess with
Everyday
me.
carry, everyone's pretty much done everyday carry.
You know what?
That's old.
I've never been tagged on everyday carry.
There you go, Skywarp.
Well, there you go, Skywarp. You can give it to him.
I tag you, Ohio.
Yeah,
It's not hard. It's a set of keys, a phone, a wallet, a gun, and a knife. You know, it's not hard.
That's true. I mean, wallet.
Hell, I could probably throw one up here in the next 15 minutes if I mute myself.
Piece
A
of
knife. A knife. A mask.
I thought about doing it just straight crazy, like put an axe on the table and be like, I carry this in my back pocket.
You missed mine then. I had my 18-volt Porter cable drill, and I had a single-bit axe. And I was pulling all kinds of shit out from behind me.
I want to do like 4 foot of rope and some duct tape and a ski mask.
That's in my left cargo pocket.
Fucking.
That's for that kidnapping you got planned later, right?
Right. As I drive my white cargo van with, you know,
curtains in the window.
Plywood windows.
There you go.
I'm EDC man. Da, 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 da. No, chicken.
Yeah, I'll do one for you in the next couple of days there, Skywarp.
Alrighty. I'm watching Paranormal Activity.
Which one?
2.
Yeah, which one? There's a bunch of them.
I'm watching 2.
That
Oh,
one
gosh.
might be my favorite. Maybe.
Oh no.
Maybe.
Did he just crack his neck? Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I don't want to
See, I can't
copyright.
watch any
No
of those.
copywriting.
You gotta take that mask off, or I'm gonna kick you out, dude. I can't deal with that.
Yeah, you know, you're about to get booted.
Alright, I'm sorry.
Which one?
Go, Joe.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Not a lot.
Hey, Jojo, what's up, man?
Hey,
we're
Jacob
in
Freedom.
we're in the shenanigans part, so, you know.
Wow. Hold on a second. Sorry about all the noise. How you guys doing tonight?
Fantastic. You gonna get us kicked off another chat this time?
I did it?
You bring the haterade, man.
Oh, gosh. Alright, I'll just leave now.
I'm just giving you crap. Please stay. You'll
It
hurt my
wasn't-
feelings if you leave now.
It wasn't the naked guy pissing in a bottle?
It would never be that. All right. Take a step back and just look at yourself. Then look at me. We were both there, and that's what happened.
I'll tell you what, if I was running a chat and some guy showed up naked, he'd last 1 second.
But he wasn't naked. He wasn't naked. He was sitting there with a pair of shorts on.
Uh-huh.
You know?
No shirt, no shoes, no.
It's just it's just fucking haters, man. That's all it was. Fucking haters.
Okay.
Not Paranormal Activity.
Somebody had to report it.
Yeah, like
YouTube ain't watching this shit.
No, I'll tell you what.
We know that's a fact because I sat there and watched fucking Mayweather fight the other night on a goddamn Google Hangout. They never get shot down.
I guarantee you what ended up happening was probably some guy or some woman or whatever was watching it thinking it was like a metal detecting chat and that's what it was about, and their kid was around or something and saw it and, was really ticked off. I guarantee you that's probably what happened. There was no age restriction on it. There was no warnings. There was nothing. So, you know.
It's still an asshat of a move.
Well, yeah, it is. But, you know, if you're a person who's
Later,
not...
Luke.
All right, guys. Peace out.
Yeah, see you later.
See you, man. Be well.
Later, man.
Thanks for jumping in, man.
Oh, I'm saying if you're not part of the community and you don't know the people and you're an outsider just saying, hey, I want to check this out, you know, and you don't know, I can't see that scenario playing out.
Yeah, but you just turn it off. You don't flag it and get it shut down.
Well,
Oh, I know, but...
That's what we would do, but you get the haters out there are going to flag it. And...
Right. Yeah.
I have my theories, but I'll keep my mouth shut.
I probably agree with your theories.
Well, yeah, and I would imagine I know what you're talking about, but it is what it is, you know.
Did you realize that we got 11 thumbs down so far? We must be doing something right.
We got more than that. I'm showing like 13.
Oh, I haven't refreshed in a long time.
I think about 5 or 6 of them are probably Skywarps earlier when...
Yeah.
Well, see, I've been getting a lot of thumbs down on my videos lately. You know, I'm getting at least one on a video. So I'm thinking I must be doing something right now because I'm getting more thumbs down.
Yeah.
Exactly.
More people are
the
paying
crowd,
attention.
It's because of the crowd who you're hanging out with, Scott.
The satisfaction, the satisfaction shows that you're doing something right and people are jealous.
That's what I'm thinking.
Oh shit! You know, I didn't even see Peachy out there. Oh hell!
Yeah, why is
I said hi.
I feel like an ass. Here, let
You
me
kind of
get right
are, but we let you hang
Yeah,
out.
Get to see the outside.
The
So
thing wa- hey man, for the last half hour, I've been filling out job applications. So
you
While
got
you're
a
at
cake
work.
job.
yeah, I'm trying to get a job that's closer to home, man. Not being home 4 days. Not being home 4 days a week is just, you know. Both my kids have ball games tonight. Here I am, you know, not even anywhere, you know, 200 miles from them.
That's
Well,
a
I heard
Holy
Avon
shit.
is totally dead. I mean, what are you going to do next?
Yeah, Tupperware and Amway. I'm gonna be at Amway's.
There you go.
Kojo, have you accepted the Lord Jesus Christ as your Savior?
Absolutely not, but I love oak furniture.
Well, we need to talk. I want to schedule an appointment, come to your house, and we're going to talk. I got some pamphlets I want to leave you.
That is perfect. I love it.
I live in the freaking missionary capital of the world.
Oh, I know.
Trust me, I turned down one set just like the regular neighborhood missionaries. They sent another set with a car that was like big Tongan kids, like coming to muscle me into the church.
Yeah. I don't get that anymore. Ever since the last time they came out to my farm, I just happened to be having my 357 big single action revolver strapped on that particular day.
Just happened.
They never came out anymore after that.
That's great. I love that, man.
Yeah, I wonder why. I don't know. It just happened that I was going to be home all day working around the farm, and I wanted to strap that one on for giggles that day.
Yeah, I'm perfectly cool to talk like religion with anyone who comes to the door. I was the guy who always, like in college, I'd invite the Jehovah's in and say, come in, sit down, let's make coffee, and all this. They would end up wanting to leave my house.
Yep.
They'd be like, we want to go now. And I'm like, no, stay. I'm a philosophy major. Come on, I want to talk more.
I got you right where I want you now.
Now it's my turn.
You messed with the wrong Marine.
I remember when I was a kid, my dad would always, like, we went, like, just regular, like, Church of Christ or whatever. My dad would always pick up, a ton of the pamphlets that were always out in the hallway by the door. And I never knew what for, but as soon as soon as I realized when Jehovah Witnesses would show up at our house, my dad was like, "Oh yeah, come on in. I got some pamphlets I want to give you." They would never. They'd leave, never come back. They don't want your pamphlets, but they want you to take theirs.
Right.
I had them stop here a couple of weeks ago, and they were wanting to do some work for me and do all kinds of shit. You know what? I'm not interested, dude. As I'm holding back, a 90-pound dog, because she just kind of wanted. I think she wanted to eat them or something. I don't know. A couple of nice young kids, I think that's kind of crappy to get the nice young kids to do all your dirty work for you.
Right. Right out of high school, I had so many friends go in. Because I live in Utah, right? We just manufacture missionaries here.
Right.
And all of my friends they were all gone for 2 years, and I got sent a bunch of letters while they were gone, and it's just like, I'll wait till you get back, and then we can hang out again when you're a normal human being.
They got brainwashed, didn't they?
Yeah.
That happened to me, man. I had a friend who was Jehovah's Witness. He turned Jehovah's Witness, and he was Christian Science before this. And it was the weirdest thing because I grew up Catholic. I'm still Catholic. Well, I'm kind of whatever. But anyway, the whole thing is that this guy just had 1,000 CDs, Judas Priest, all the Scorpions, all this good stuff. He just ditched it all, man. He's like, I can't listen to that. And I went over to his house, and he's like listening to Madonna. And I'm like going,
Madonna? You can't listen to that either.
How is this any better?
This is okay? I was like, what the hell is this, Dave? Anyway, I guess the Jehovah, well, whatever, they brainwashed him out of listening to anything good and listening to fucking Madonna.
He didn't go all the way to share.
Oh,
right. Damn.
That's funny.
Any of you guys dig this weekend? Did you guys?
I've been working and I wanted to go out, but I couldn't. I woke up late and I couldn't get out. I might get out tomorrow for a little bit, but I got to do a lot of planning for my daughter's graduation. So, some free time I normally would have, I might be consumed by some of that.
That's cool. Same here. I've been working too much. I haven't been able to get out. Wolverine, Tolly, Flint, Sky. Anything go on this week for you guys? Exciting?
Nah, I've been working. I've been picking up extra shifts. I worked a double yesterday. Supposed to be off today, but I picked up a 9-hour shift today.
So what we're all saying is that we all have a job, and this is a very boring chat.
Pretty much, yeah.
we're not gangsta style,
I don't work until 5 o'clock tomorrow night, so maybe I'll get out for a little dig.
That's cool.
I haven't really had my first dig yet. I got out for 10 minutes one day, and it started freaking raining on me.
Tally, man, I'd love for you to get out here and dig with me, man. That'd be a good time.
That would be.
I think what I'm gonna do tomorrow is instead of digging, I want to just go get permissions. I've got 5 permissions lined up, but there's 4 other properties I want to get before this goofball that I've been dealing with tries to do it. And if I can get those permissions, they'd be really huge. So I want to try and work on those and get those permissions. So, when people like NC and Red Beam's supposed to come here and Ohio, you're going to come over. I want some nice permissions that I've got kind of set aside that we can hunt, So.
Yeah. I got a park outside of town here that I don't think anybody's ever been to hunt. So all the parks in town have been hunted within an inch of their life.
Yeah.
It's hard telling, though, man. I went on a property one time. It was a schoolhouse, and the guy says it was hunted in the 80s like crazy. And we went out there, and we pulled about 40 coins that were cool. You know, not to mention other cool relics. And you know, the technology that you have now does make a difference, guys. So you know, always have faith that you know something good can happen.
Well, and I've got an older machine, but it seems to work pretty good. So
hey,
I'll
you
just
know
use
what?
it.
The kid I'm working with right now, I'm working with an autistic kid. Really cool kid. I mean, he's really nice kid. And he just got a Sears 2, old, you know, 80s style, you know, metal detector. But and I don't know, it's all dials, you know. At least the tone works on it. The needle doesn't work on the scale, but at least it registers something. So you know, it don't matter. I mean, it's just getting out and whatever. You know, it is finding stuff. It just can't go as deep. That's all. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I've got a White's Classic 3 with the Blue Max 950, I think, coil on it.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
Wow.
It seems to go pretty deep.
That 950 coil is actually pretty kick-ass, Tolly.
I'll tell you what, Tolly,
That's what I heard.
White's was the top brand. You know, they don't sell crap. You know.
Yeah.
White's are good.
I know that. Yep. And
I mean, that's what Mr. Crappenay uses. You know.
Yeah.
I don't think he uses the 950 coil though. The 950 coil is a little bit bigger.
Yeah, no, he doesn't use that, but you know what I'm saying. Same technology.
Yep.
You know.
If you ever see that I think it's called the Blue Max 1500. That thing is like a flying saucer. That thing's like out there, man. Have you guys seen that?
You know what? I just can't see swinging a coil that's as big as a coffee table, man. You know how heavy and laborious that would be. You know, I mean, you might as well walk around with a ground penetrator if that's what you're gonna be doing. You know. Come on.
I know. Yeah, you're right. I mean, I understand, man, but it's a hobby, and people like did it. I mean, those guys who were swinging that 950 coil 10, 15 years ago. I mean, we gotta hit it again with our big 10, 15 inch coils. You know, now just to see if did they really cover it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and you know you got a lot of you know things tend to push up to the surface too. So,
yeah, especially with the frost and stuff we get, you know.
Yeah. Around here, you know, everything's different every year.
Yeah.
So, you know, for me, it's just I just don't want a real heavy coil because you know it's too much for me. I just you know.
You guys are going to have to deal with this noise for a little bit, man, because it's like 90-something degrees in this thing. I got to turn the air on for a little bit.
I do have 2 of them, and I'm hoping to get my wife out with me. So that should be a lot of fun.
I love the idea of exploration, or just like going somewhere and doing something and finding something. You know, I mean, that's just a beautiful thing to me to say, hey, you know, we still live in a society where we can get in the car, pay $3 for gas, and we can get 20 miles away and go see something. You know, we may find something. I just love that idea. I mean,
I know, it's awesome. I just found a Reese's cup in the vending machine at work, so.
Oh, okay.
That's a little bit of history there.
All right, I'm gonna take
My
a
exploration is, I've done some exploration tonight, and I'm good.
I see how you are now.
Well,
I done struck chocolate and peanut butter gold.
That's not fair, man.
That farm that I was at, where I returned the saw to that owner.
Yeah.
He told me where his family dumped all their bottles.
Oh yeah.
So that that's one thing he told me. He goes, right now I don't feel comfortable with you, you know, being on my property right now. Maybe if I'm there, so I'll leave that option maybe open. I'll call you, but I can tell you, this is where my family used to dump all their bottles and garbage at, and so I went to that property and I got that permission today, and that there are 2 old foundations there, as well as the bottle dump behind it.
Cool.
So no telling what might be there. So we'll see.
Yeah.
It'll be fun.
I'm kind of interested to find out what's going to be in this one, because it's rumored, and I don't know for sure. I know there's a park in town here that was filled in from a tornado that happened in 1964, and all the fill went into this marsh, and they built a park on top of it with some baseball fields and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's rumored that this other park that I'm going to be going to was the same kind of deal.
Oh, there's no telling what you're going to find.
Yeah.
I mean, absolutely no telling.
None.
Welcome back, Will.
Yeah, I was uploading a video. I finally got it done. So, well, it's downloading, but I've done all the legwork. I need to use this camera at times for it.
Nice.
How's the weather over where you're at, Will? Are you getting thunderstorms over there?
No, it rained. Well, a little bit. You know, earlier tonight I heard some grumbling in the air, but I didn't see any lightning.
Yeah, we had some thunderstorms here for a little while. It's supposed to thunderstorm all weekend here, so you know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know what it's supposed to do here.
I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up for the night. We're down to like 16 viewers, and we've been on since 10 o'clock, so we're going on 3 hours.
I don't even know what time it is.
That's a good stretch.
Well, it's 1 o'clock Eastern time here. So.
It's only 11, man. We've been on. Just kidding. It's 11 for me.
I think we hit our peak. You gotta know when. You gotta know when to call it, man. So.
All right.
Well, if anybody's interested, I've been sewing one side of a gun belt pretty much the whole time we've been on, hand stitching a gun belt.
I've noticed.
Just in case anybody wonders how much work goes into a nice heavy gun belt, there you go.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
I have
and
2
why,
right
you know,
now.
it
I'll
costs
show you in after chat.
Yeah, people wonder why something like that costs you $100 to buy a good gun belt. You know, there you go. I'm not using a machine. I'm hand stitching everything.
Yep. Are you using saddle stitches?
Yep.
That's the only way to do it, man.
It is. Good and strong.
Takes forever, but man, I'll tell you what, it's worth it.
Yeah. Can't beat it.
Are you guys beer aficionados?
So I don't do a lot of these. Oh,
beer.
What?
Are you guys beer aficionados? I mean,
Somebody's speaking my language now.
Okay. I got.
Hey, hang on, guys. Let me go ahead and end this so we can get to the after chat here. Just wanted to say, on behalf of Mike DeLucia, this was the Quagmire stand-in chat because he had a curfew tonight. Couldn't stay out late. But thanks for watching, and you can catch us probably next week on Mike DeLucia's channel. And this Sunday, I'm going to go ahead and run another one on my channel Sunday night. So come join us for that. And I'm not sure what's up with Jack, so dig that tone Tuesday night. We'll see what goes on. So thanks for watching, and thanks for hanging out with us, guys.
Thanks, guys.
We're out.
Thanks.
Thanks for the good chat, man.
Have a good night.